Wait, Wendy Bell Radio is live.
What do you mean, wait?
Well, you scared me because you said I can't hear anything.
Oh, now I got you. You guys got me?
So now I'm paranoid.
Hey, I love the smell of common sense in the morning, says Skizmo. Good morning. Hey, everybody, it's our last week at this time. Isn't that so weird? Like, wow, I'm super wilded out by this. So remember, next Monday, we're going to be switching from noon or 9 to noon to noon to 3. So we're just moving everything back 3 hours.
And you think you guys, it's going to be a change
it's
for
gonna
you?
It's going to be super weird. It's going to be super weird.
I was talking to Kate about it last night. She's like, it's your last week of waking up at 2:15. I says, yeah. I said, I don't know what time to get up now because the news changes.
We're going to be like this.
Yeah.
Like, where am I? What am I doing? This is very peculiar. It's going to take a few days. Probably going to take a few weeks. And then to get the pets on board, we'll have to figure that stuff out. I don't know. It's going to be weird.
It is.
I think it's going to be wonderful, though, and I think it's something that we need to do for life balance. So I shared with Brock this morning that I went to the P.O. box after the show on Friday, or Saturday morning. I went on Saturday morning, and it was gangbusters. You guys had flooded us, and I want to say thank you to many people. You guys, it's not necessary for you to send things to tuck cash into cards for Brock's birthday.
Yes, I appreciate it, but absolutely.
I mean, like, it's so sweet, and we love you. We love you. Tad and Brenda from Maryland, thank you very much for your wonderful card and the cash that you put inside. Hey, Ernie, I got it. I got your challenge coin. I love it. Absolutely love it. He says, my name is Ernie. I've been with you the past year. Love your show. Try to hear it every day. Yep.
Come on, Ernie.
I'm a submariner, 21 years in the Navy. This coin is the American Legion 100-year coin. It is named the Mark Twain Post because his father lived in Jamestown, Tennessee, moved 8 months before Samuel was born. A lot of things here call Mark Twain. I understand what you're saying. It doesn't make sense to everybody else. I did a poor job of describing that. Thank you very much. The coin is beautiful, and that you thought to send it to us. Very sweet. Brock, what'd you get? Do you want to do what Potsy gave us?
Oh, these are pretty. These are really cool. Look at that.
Jeez Louise.
Bottle opener. You all think we have a serious drinking problem?
Look at this. Look at mine. Look at mine. Handcrafted. Isn't that magnificent?
Super cool.
And it's got like a tag on it that has everything, and it says history, idea by Ron, designed by Potsy, polished by Ron. The wooden handle opener spent July 2025 in a purpose-built by Potsy he was in a 2003 Jeep Wrangler. Over July, it explored north of 2,100 miles of trails alone in southern Utah, in a very specific mountainous area. The opener successfully opened a cold Yingling on top of the Burr Trail switchbacks at the hidden overlook. The beer was purposely carried by Ron out there just to give the opener a cool background story. The video can be found on YouTube. Here's the address, blah, blah, blah. Thank you so very much, Potsy and Ron. I just love it. I love that you thought of us. Thank you. What else you get?
I haven't even opened all the cards. Stormy Night. Thank you. Sorry, I can't. Debbie.
Dear Wendy and Brock, Merry Christmas. I haven't practiced my cursive so much this year, but I've had access to Texas Bully, and I've seen the works of art that you've received from them. So I decided to add something else to your collection. They called junk silver pre-1965 United States coinage, 90% silver, they say. And he sent us a bunch of different things. One is not old school silver, just tucked in some silver for us. And then some older coins that he thought we would enjoy. And it was just the sweetest gesture. Thank you. Thank you. And then on top of it.
Barry, thank you.
And then on top of it, gives us $120 for Stinkies. Like, really?
However will we spend that? Buffalo chicken dip, beer, wings.
It's just ridiculous. It's like some of you take care of me like I'm your wife. Some of you take care of me like I'm your daughter. Some of you take care of me like I'm your granddaughter. and I love all of it.
Christine, thank you. There will be some Brock mugs, not as many, but some. He says you should get them because people are going to want the set. We'll see.
Just so kind.
Mimi Rule 6, unnecessary.
Sly
but nice.
Sly in Pittsburgh. Thank you for the picture of your babies.
Ooh.
Thank
puppies.
you. Thank you very much, Sammy. Sly in Pittsburgh.
Demots. The card says your new hobby will be peeing. Already there, Demots. Already there.
Oh, I love 50. Ain't it nifty?
Yeah,
I
right?
love you guys.
No, it's not.
Thank you.
Things hurt.
Thank you.
Yes,
so much.
Thank you.
You are loved back. So make no excuses and change your freaking schedule and join us at noon.
Right. Like, what's this try thing?
I mean, like,
Yoda
whatever.
said, do or do not. There's no try.
Wow.
Here we go.
4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at me.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Greetings to all of you and welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program, Common Sense Conservative Values. You know, what you feel inside and how you see the world, you're not unusual. You're not all by yourself. You're not off on an island somewhere. This is exactly what you think and how you feel. And we say it because we've bought our own radio network so we can. I want you to know there is such a strong voice behind you. There is such a strong movement behind you. And if we can be part of this just for a few hours of your life, by you going to wendybellradio.com and following along on the live video stream or tuning in every day, thank you. Thank you. We got a great show today. Nick Shirley, my goodness, if you don't know this young man's name, you soon will, doing the work of 1,000 journalists and even more congressmen and women. Oh my, I've got it all and so much more moments away. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, it feels like a million years ago when my children were at the little Catholic school in our community. It was no just chance thing that we would buy a house many, many years ago, 20 odd years ago, specifically like a 9-iron away from this great little Catholic school where my husband Joe grew up and he went to school. And he so appreciated the Catholic education that when we got married and started having children and we outgrew a townhome we had built together, he's like, we got to go back home to this area. We got to get a house there. We've got to raise our children in this neighborhood, all because of this school. And I agreed with him. And I looked for 2 years for a house finally to get into this neighborhood. We had no business affording it. We basically leveraged everything we had to buy a house, thanks to the goodness also of very kind in-laws who could write a fat check we could pay back. And we were able to settle down and create this family in our neighborhood. Now, as I went through my career in journalism and television news, I worked for ABC here in Pittsburgh for many, many years. And I worked this very peculiar shift. I was the evening news anchor, right? So I did the 5 and 11 o'clock news. Go in about 3:30 in the afternoon, sometimes earlier if I was shooting a story, do the 5, do something at 6, come home in between shows to see the boys, go over homework, make dinner, get everybody ready for bed to then go back to the TV station and do the 11 o'clock news. I did that for 10 years, right? And it worked out. Well, I wanted to pay more attention to what was going on at the school. And so I was going to volunteer in the cafeteria. Not a big deal. Show up early, set some things out, do some dishes, clean things up, help with this and that. And then the whole Catholic Church pedophile priest madness disgusting chapter of American history came out. And we had all of these new hoops we had to jump through if you wanted to volunteer, if you wanted to be a recess monitor, if you wanted to be a mom, a homeroom mom, if you wanted to be a teacher's aide, or you wanted to do what I wanted to do right before I went to work once a week. And we pop in and volunteer for an hour and a half. Yes, keep an eye on my kids, but give back to the school that had given so much to me, right? So then all of a sudden we had to take these classes. In the Catholic Church, it's called Protecting God's Children. Got to sign up for a class before you have the privilege to volunteer your time to work for free for the school. Yes, but of course, this is what we did. And so I went to the local university. It was a snowy day, and it was a Saturday, and it was 8 a.m. And for 3 hours, we sat there and had basically, common sense drilled into our minds about identifying possible sexual malfeasance, identifying abuse of any nature, becoming a first responder of that, blah, blah, blah. Part of that, of course, is being fingerprinted and doing a criminal background check, which you, as the volunteer who wants to work for free for the best of the community, you pay for, right? And only when you pass all of those clearances are you then given the opportunity to show up at school, get buzzed in, signed in to go do your volunteer work, right? Can you imagine if anybody in the freaking state of Minnesota had done even a half of that for any of the hundreds, if not thousands, of Somali-run child care centers or autism clinics or healthcare centers? If anybody had one freaking semblance of an iota of common sense and gave a crap about kids or people, if they'd just gone to do a little bit of research, I had to go through as a freaking cafeteria volunteer at our local Catholic school through more hoops than anybody who is a Somalian, I'm going to argue, in the state of Minnesota has gone through to prove that what they're doing is worthy of millions of dollars of government paybacks every single year. It is the most vile, reprehensible, fraudulent nightmare allowed by Democrats. And I'm going to say it. Democrats promoted, Democrats allowed, Democrats compensated, and the cycle continues around and around. And so I'm going to say this to the President of the United States. Hear me, President Trump. I voted for you 3 times, sir. I know that you have a bunch of very capable executives in your administration. Heads gotta roll, my man. Heads gotta roll. This is it. If we don't see indictments, if we don't see arrests, if we don't see people in handcuffs, and people in jumpsuits, people in front of the freaking judges the way all of the January 6ers were paraded for years, then everybody's going to know that MAGA was bullcrap, that it stands for nothing, that it means less than that. It means spinning your wheels, pie in the sky, vote for me, we're going to change things. We want it now, sir. Not tomorrow, not next Thursday, not right before the midterms, not right when it's election prudent-wise for the politicians. Now. Because if you have hundreds of Somalians who are able to defraud the American people in one city, in one state, that means not one single person, not one fraud inspector, not one health inspector, not one single person ever knocked on one damn door to find out that those people were doing what they said they were doing. How dare you, Minnesota? And then you have a governor who has the audacity to submit that anybody who asks questions about said fraud, which is so freaking obvious, must be a racist. This is where the entire ideology of woke garbage goes to die. Every young woman out there who's been indoctrinated in the public school system and sadly failed forward up into college, hear me now. You have been fed the biggest bunk, the biggest bag of garbage, and you have created so much division in relationships because you were too dumb to see it. You hitched your wagon to the sanctimonious do-goodery of idiocy, and look where it's gotten you. Ripped off, penniless, and wondering why are you living alone with cats? There it is. This is the moment, ladies and gentlemen. I watched all weekend long, same videos a lot of you did. One 23-year-old YouTuber who decided to do in one day more work than any lawmaker in the state of Minnesota or their national representatives. I'm speaking to you, Tom Emmer. Stop clutching your pearls, bro. Stop pointing fingers at other people. Where the hell have you been besides AWOL, running for House minority or majority whip? How many millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions, tens of billions is it going to end up being? And you know what is the most disgusting part of all of this? Guess who's going to pay it? The kids and the grandkids who haven't even been born. Mr. President, you have an opportunity. Do you understand that we have been patient? We followed you through all of the lawsuits, the impeachments, the attempts on your life, and we've stood behind you, and we believe in you. But our patience has worn thin. We want action. We want handcuffs. We want justice. And we're tired of waiting for it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, so curious. Ilhan Omar's husband. Weird how his company has just kind of erased 9 pretty big muckety-mucks executives off of its website. Why ever would that be? Well, let's dig into that together, ladies and gentlemen. Let's find the truth, shall we? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's not like that was stewing in me for a little bit, I think. Sorry. Okay, so you know how I talk about Texas Bullion Exchange, wendylovesgold.com. If you are still in the dark ages about gold and silver, trust me, I was too until about a year and a half ago. And then I started doing a little bit of research and thinking, you know what, gold and silver, pretty good bets against inflation, against the stock market, good place to channel some of your cash as you plan for retirement. And I went through a couple of the boxes that I've gotten from Texas Bullion Exchange. Again, wendylovesgold.com. And I found 2 beautiful coins that I think are very interesting. Both date back to 2016. This is the Donald J. Trump, 45th president official coin from Texas Bullion Exchange. It's so beautiful. And on the back is his White House right there. Can you imagine it when they're going to have to do a new one that has the ballroom? Everybody's going to go, blah, blah, blah. And then there's this one, which is just beautiful. It says Trump, the government. It is his 2016 campaign coin. Vote now, vote non-politician. This is what it says. This is going to be a low mintage coin that I think is going to have a lot of value down the road. This is how beautiful these coins are. And they come to you in these beautiful, their own cases. I've got silver bars. I've got silver bricks. I have gold coins. I have all sorts of stuff. And I love it. It's like Christmas morning opening up a box from wendylovesgold.com. 855-927-5557. These are the people I trust. And these are the people I know you can trust, period. Enough said. You're going to love working with them. 855-927-5557. WendyLovesGold.com. I just had a small aneurysm. Sorry. I haven't had enough of my coffee yet. Anywho, how's everybody? How are you guys? It was great to be with you yesterday for our Sunday show. We were number two on the leaderboard.
We're in the big box now.
We should be, damn it. I mean, who wouldn't put me in the big box?
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Right? I'm telling you what, heads better freaking roll.
Yeah.
Heads better roll. I'm done. I've lost my patience. I can't watch another scumbag get away with it. And the Somalians, the audacity of them calling the cops on Nick Shirley, who's just knocking on doors, wondering where U.S. taxpayer money is going. Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
how's that?
Blow it out your ass.
How's that? Double-barreled response to you.
And how they should. Why are you looking? It's.
Why are you looking?
Islamophobic.
What are you doing? What are you doing? You're a racist, right? Sadly, nobody falls for that anymore.
No.
Because everything's racist.
One girl
now.
called him on Twitter a pedophile for knocking on doors looking for children.
Right.
Right. Got it.
That's how it works.
That's how it went down.
Who knew? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So to reiterate, if heads don't roll over this Minnesota fraud, then the whole MAGA promise was built on BS. I mean, that is where we are right now. Is anybody else tired of being a law-abiding citizen in a country that doesn't freaking enforce the law? Right? How about the news outlets out there who have yet to cover this rampant fraud in Minnesota? Let's go over it. New York Times, CNN, Washington Post, MS Now, NPR, USA Today, Reuters, Axios, ABC News, and PBS. They have not covered the video of independent journalist Nick Shirley doing what the media have failed to do. And that is to go and find the hell out. Knock on the doors. Hi. According to Minnesota Public Record, you're receiving $1.2 million a year, providing childcare for max capacity 90 children. Where are the damn children? Well, the children don't exist. You know they don't exist. They know they don't exist, and you're a racist for asking. Follow my drift. Tim Walz is saying, you know what? And this is his response, which I find fascinating. He's pushing back on Minnesota fraud allegations following this viral daycare video. We're going to give you about 8 minutes of it coming up after the break. It's over 100 million views, ladies and gentlemen. So Tim Walz's office is pushing back against these allegations after the video showed visits to multiple child care centers in this state, including one that allegedly received millions of dollars in state funding despite appearing largely inactive. Largely, they didn't find a damn child. Responding to questions about the allegations in the video posted by independent journalist Nick Shirley, a spokesperson for the governor told Fox News that Walz has spent years working to crack down on fraud. I've worked hard, right? I've taken steps to strengthen oversight, including initiating investigations into several facilities. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is what you get with a loser, limp-wristed, willow, white bread, freaking rice cake governor in Tim Walz. I've been working on it. Excellent. Meantime, Ilhan Omar's world is getting a little bit squeezed as her husband's firm erases names as Minnesota fraud case heats up. What? Whatever are you talking about? What kind of names would we want to erase from Ilhan Omar's husband's venture capital firm? Well, 9 officers and advisors have just sort of ghosted from its website. Kind of a suspicious move that comes amid pressure over massive fraud in Minnesota. Omar introduced the legislation that critics say paved the way for what the feds have called the largest fraud of the pandemic, right? Her husband, Tim Minette. This is after she married her brother and some other guy and then bounced back to her brother and now is with this other dude, some white guy who seems to be, I don't know, is he the one through whom she launders her money? Who knows? Her husband, Tim Minette, launched Rose Lake Capital in 2022. Huh. Seems sort of Hunter Biden-ish, doesn't it? Rose Lake Capital in 2022. Its reported value went quickly from almost nothing to between $5 and $25 million. Dang it. The heck are we doing wrong, Brock? 5 to 20 in just a couple of years? Shazam, right? Now, the Post article continued between September and October when federal prosecutors announced charges to 8 more individuals, including 6 of Somali descent, for their roles in the welfare scheme in Minnesota. The names and bios of Rose Lake Capital's 9 officers and advisors were removed from the website. None of them, we should note, have been charged so far in any kind of fraud. But let's talk about who these people are, whose names went poof. Include lobbyist and former Obama ambassador to Bahrain, Adam Ereli, former senator and Obama ambassador to China, Max Baucus, DNC finance chair, Associate Alex Hoffman, former DNC treasurer William Darrow, and former ex-CEO of Amalgamated Bank, Keith Mestrich, who once described Amalgamated as the institutional bank of the Democratic Party. What? And of course, Breitbart News has reported, as have other outlets, including us, that Omar's net worth rose from $51,000 to $30 million in 1 year. But she's denied being worth that much. I have student loans to pay back, she says. Don't be conflated. We were just really lucky. I called Nancy Pelosi and was like, Nance, can you help me with some?
And Nance said, hey, have your husband call my husband because that's how it works.
And make sure he has a vibrating hammer when he does it. Anyway, geez Louise, right? So here we have Ilhan Omar in the crosshairs of all things suck in Minnesota, a Somalian American who ostensibly lied, lied and changed her birth certificate, changed her birth date so that she could become a naturalized citizen when her father back in the day became naturalized. As a minor, she would also become naturalized with her father. She was 18, ladies and gentlemen. She had to go into the Minnesota Public Record, and she had to go and change all of that around. Seems like she's been a walking, I don't know, what do we want to call her, epicenter of fraud since the moment she came into this country and brought along all of her abuelas. Come. The money is ripe here in the United States. And because of woke garbage under Barack Obama that has everybody worried about being called a racist, nobody will call you out for stealing. Well, about that, Ilhan, you're one of the first people I think should take that CBP Home app. And you might want to plug in some details because I hear Christine Nome is going to give you $3,000 right now to bounce back to Somalia. To me, that'd be worth it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, hear from independent journalist Nick Shirley as he does what the media failed to do. And that's to ask questions. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
I have another question.
There are just so many we could be asking. So please fire away.
Where's all these fiscal hawks? Where's Rand Paul? He puts out the Festivus report.
Right. Where are you, bro?
Where are you?
Yeah,
Thomas Massey. I don't see you doing TV hits about the fraud.
Yeah. Tom Emmer. We're going to get down to the bottom of this.
And don't worry, I have my finger on the pulse because I worked with Keith Ellis.
That's right. Ellison. Yes. Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm totally plugged into that.
Keith Ellis and Keith Ellison are probably corrupt.
He has multiple personalities, damn it.
The fraud.
It's preposterous.
Is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I think they need to start changing things. I think they need to start saying, you can't run for Congress if you have dual citizenship.
By the way, Melissa Hortman was murdered
because of this.
was murdered because she was the lone Democrat to vote with Republicans in Minnesota against giving illegal aliens health care. They want to give them more. It is the great replacement, ladies and gentlemen. It's replacing you. And the kick in the balls with it is that you pay for it. It's like the vaccine and the virus all over again. You paid for the virus that got you sick, and then you paid to make the vaccine that made you sicker or killed somebody you knew. It's for the greater good.
If you guys out there, if Trump came on TV and said, I know you want to see all these things cleared up. Our 2 missions are for the next year, voter ID,
That's the
and
only
clean
way.
up the fraud. Who here would be like,
Done.
You give me that? Fix that?
Look, I'm not here to tell you what Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are supposed to be doing in their jobs, and I'm certainly not here to tell you that they're not doing their jobs. But there is a degree of progress that America demands, and we have been waiting for a freaking hell of a long time. And to be honest with you, as a conservative woman, as a common sense mom, my patience has run out. I want to tell you about Genucel. I know you're looking at me right now and saying, there's no way that she's 74 and or 55. And that's great. And I appreciate that. But Genucel is my skincare brand. This is it. This is what you get. Literally, you're like genucel.com/Wendy. You're welcome for the extra 10% off, the free shipping and all of that. But I want to tell you what they're doing right now. And I love that they keep coming back, even during a lull. Like, this is a traditional lull of a time to do advertising. They presume that people aren't paying attention, but they clearly don't know you people. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going to be your holiday gift this year to you? Okay, there's only 1 week left to save over 70% on Genucel's amazing complete skincare collection, including their jawline treatment to tighten and tone and contour your neck and your jawline. I put it on every day, and then there's this light thing. It sort of looks like this. Oh, that's because that's what it is. And then you go, and it heats up and it vibrates. How you doing on your neck? It's so nice. I use it every day, twice a day. It works. Treat yourself this holiday for 10 years off your appearance, and everybody's going to see the difference, guaranteed. 100% of your money back. It's pretty legit. 100%. Genucel.com/Wendy. Put in my name, Wendy. Get extra 10% off. Free shipping. Come on.
I have some ideas for Trump. April 15th, I want Trump to come out and say, you know what? This is the standard deduction. I know it's not the right amount, but every citizen is getting $10,000 added to that to take off of your taxes, your tax burden. Because guess what? You've been overcharged for how long?
I want them to go after these assholes, and I want them to claw back all that money. I want the cars repossessed. I want to have the freaking jets that they bought, the apartment buildings in Kenya, right? Or all the other things that they did around the world. All their investments in China.
I want all the politicians to have to pay back.
I want it all back. I want it all back. We were paying, they were getting rich. Term limits. I'm telling you, it's the
and every year, every single year, why don't they audit Congress first?
100%.
Before they audit you,
I want to see what you've spent. What have you made? Where's your money going?
We know what you're making.
Yeah. Go to Open Secrets. No. You pledged to us that you won't be filthy scumbags, and then prove to us, here's my tax return. I did exactly what I said I was doing. Why is there no? Okay, I brought a prop. I'm going to have to share it with you in a minute. But first, Gloria. Hey, Glow. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Brock and Wendy. Love you. We love you back. We love you back. Let's see what she's sending. Oh, beautiful. Thank you very much. A Christmas ornament for a great nation's 250th birthday. Very beautiful, Glow. That was very sweet. Aren't you a doll? You're a frequent flyer. You're a P1.
She sends all our good news.
There's one for each of us so we don't have to fight.
I'd win that fight.
You'd win that fight? Wow. Okay.
Remember, this is the sound bite.
Yes. So I started, but then how long do you need me not to talk after it's done? Couple
A
seconds?
second, yeah.
Okay. So if you haven't watched any of this Nick Shirley knocking on doors with a guy who's obviously a whistleblower, who's done all of the research. His name is David. He's identified in here. We're going to open the door to you. And then on our locals page, well, you'll see it. The whole interview is posted, and it blows your mind. Makes me so angry.
Explodes your mind.
Makes me so angry. Don't. Nick Shirley is blowing up the internet. He's blowing up everybody's social media. It is being shared like wildfire. It is a runaway freight train that no censor in any world could ever stop from getting out. What did he do? He's one guy, 23 years old, a YouTuber. We've played many of his clips going to various protests, No Kings, all the other garbage that the left puts out. He decides to be the citizen journalist who goes out in search of the truth. Because God knows 60 Minutes ain't going to freaking do it. And he gets a guy named David who's a whistleblower, a guy named David who's pissed. Because his office is among this complex of buildings that are allegedly Somali-run daycares or healthcare facilities or autism clinics. And this guy's been doing research for years. The two connect, and they knock on doors, and what happens next is an absolute mind bender. Nick Shirley.
Taking place here in Minnesota.
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building. Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud, it could actually almost replace the entire GDP of Somalia. These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the US taxpayers' expense. And in this video we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish, from going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government. And we will also be confronting the incompetent government leaders who let this fraud happen. And to make this happen, I met up with a man who's been doing his own investigation for years now, as he has seen the fraud firsthand. His name is David. Let's get into this and be prepared to be shocked. How deep is this fraud here inside of Minnesota?
It is far worse than anybody can imagine. You heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more, and now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion. How I got involved is that where my office is here in Minneapolis, I'm sort of in the heart of all of this fraud, and I would see these child care centers. I said, well, there aren't any kids there. It's the middle of the day, and all I see are a couple of guys standing out front smoking. And then I'd go by another daycare and I'd see the same thing. I said, well, where do these kids play? And so I started to go online and look, and I said, this place is licensed for 80 children. They had 0 children. Every time I went by there, they never had a single child there. Then I started to see all these transportation companies going around, and it was always a Somali driver. And I said, well, that's great. They're out there transportation, contributing, but they never had a passenger, never, ever once. And I said, well, what is all this transportation? What are they doing? So then I found out that in Minnesota, they have something called non-emergency medical transportation. So this is going to the dentist's office, therapy, whatever it might be. And I said, well, how many of these companies are there? And the research came back that there are 1,020 of them, and more than 800 of them are Somali-owned. Nobody from the state of Minnesota ever cross-checks to see if any rides were ever actually provided. All they did was write the check.
So right here we have all this paperwork. And how are you getting all this information about the fraud?
A lot of it is through my own research. And then I have some contacts at the Capitol going back many, many years. And so the data that I'm getting is 100% accurate, coming directly from research done by people at the state capitol.
All this paperwork right here, what are we looking at?
The areas of fraud that I have numbers for are mostly related to childcare. This is massive fraud that is beyond anyone's imagination, the scope. And so, for example, there's a childcare not far from here in Minneapolis that has two childcares listed at the same address. And together, they're licensed supposedly for 120 children. I have never seen a single child there ever, and I've been by that place at least 100 times.
These Somalians, these groups are setting up these daycares, these childcare centers, getting money from the government, but there's no kids.
No kids. Never had any of them. They're all fraught with violations, and even though they have these violations, they're still in operation and they're still getting money. And it's millions of dollars for every one of them every year.
And who's getting the money? And where are they getting the money from?
So we have a thing called CCAP. It's a blend of federal and state money. The bottom line is it's taxpayer money, so it's state money and it's federal money. And the problem is the people at the state of Minnesota are the ones writing the checks. This is kind of the maddening thing is you have daycare, so you have adult daycare, and then you have child care, and then you have health care. And a lot of these same names keep coming up on all of these different types of businesses. And then, of course, we have the transportation, and a lot of those same names appear, a lot of the same addresses. There's one building that has 14 Somali healthcare companies at the same address. There's another building in St. Paul that has 22 Somali healthcare businesses at the same address.
And the government knows about this?
The government knows, they're writing the checks. The government knows they're writing the checks.
The government knows they're writing the checks. So that wets your whistle, kind of gets you going, right? Now they go to that building where 22 Somali daycare centers are being run, and they start knocking on the doors.
A list of all of the healthcare companies, loads of them right here. We want healthcare.
No, it's okay.
Yes, we'd like to speak about getting healthcare here.
No.
Why can't I get healthcare here?
No, wait.
Warning, you are under video surveillance. No trespassing, security armed. This is the strangest place I've ever been to get healthcare. Just a bunch of different places. Healthcare here, healthcare right here. Another healthcare company right here. There are 3 healthcare companies inside of this building right here in this room of 7C. Now we have another Helping Hands, Home Care LLC, another healthcare company, Present Help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this building because we have so many options. Who can we talk to about getting the best healthcare?
I don't know.
No?
Sorry.
All right. We will not get any healthcare here. David, this is one of the stranger places I've ever been. Literally, healthcare every door you go to, yet nobody will give you a rate. How much money do you think's been funneled through this building?
Every year, I would say 50 to 60 million at least.
And finally, we were accepted into one of the daycare centers, and they actually took down our information to give us a rate. However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that gentlemen matching your description were in this building harassing the individuals who stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the rates for healthcare. Because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building, so.
Okay.
Well, that's not what he said. He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers, everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay.
So he's here with some kind of like propaganda.
No, we're just checking.
No, this is a area that we're allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance. Is there any other reason that you guys are here?
Well, we were checking rates.
No, he's not.
We were checking rates. We asked for rates.
No, you're not.
Okay. I'm gonna have, if you guys are all good, we're gonna step outside and we can continue this conversation.
All right, let's leave. So, all right, we're getting escorted out right now. The police have arrived. We were checking out the rates, seeing what was happening inside this building. No one would really speak with us. We did go inside the one daycare center, and she actually did give us rates for childcare. Much respect to that lady. What's the problem, officer?
Well, so again, we've been getting reports from multiple individuals that you guys were harassing individuals who work here. At the end of the day, this is private property, and it's one that people are allowed to ask you to leave, and it's also one the Minneapolis Police Department is allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance at this address.
Yeah.
So
as we got escorted out of this building, the Somalis filmed us as we left, and we headed over to the next building that had 22 of the same home health care providers operating from inside of the building.
Right here you have...
Oh, my goodness. So the Somalians call the cops on the guy whose taxes pay for their fraud. Are you out of your freaking mind? Mr. President, are you watching? We're not waiting anymore, sir. They film, they sneer, they mock, and they followed Nick Shirley. How dare they? How dare they? A country whose collective IQ, average IQ, is in the 60s because something like 50% of the people inbreed, which, by the way, is a little bit of a problem here in America, have somehow managed to become multi-millionaires. And you have Tim Walz and others saying, this is the backbone of our community. They built our beautiful community. How freaking dare you? And every single cretin out there who voted for these morons who are on the receiving end of a very interesting money laundering cycle, isn't it? And can you imagine? This is one microcosm, right? Remember James O'Keefe and Act Blue? How many of the Act Blue pretend Smurf donors were actually real people just given millions and millions of dollars to the Democrats who stand and allow it to happen and run interference? The Somalians called the cops on the guy who's trying to expose it, and they jeer him as he is escorted off the premises by an effeminate willow officer in Minneapolis. Are you out of your mind? Ladies and gentlemen, this Democrat Party wants you to be enslaved to the immigrants who they've given your money to, so long as they continue voting them into office. Oh my. So how does Tim Walz respond? Like, what does this absolute zero say? Well, we're going to flash back a little bit because back in 2019, he said something very curious. Then Nick Shirley bounces over to the networks last night for a sit-down interview. How do you feel about being called racist and a white supremacist, Nick? It's almost like those monikers don't stick the landing anymore. Oops. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I get a little hot. Sorry. I can tell I'm making people on the floor nervous because I'm screaming and I'm getting very fussy in the camera. You should be. I'm so beyond pissed. How freaking dare you? By the way, it's not different than those the illegals who beat up the New York police detectives or cops and then got bounced out of prison in 45 seconds and went like that to the cameras with their toothless wonder mouths and the gang crap all over them. Shame on every single ass who voted for these abject zeros. Shame on you. Shame on you. I have no time. I'm not here to reconcile. I'm not here to negotiate. I don't want to make amends. Let's meet in the middle. Let's get back together. No, you freaking did this. And I will never forget. Never. Anywho, I hope my kids are vacuuming right now because they know I'm pissed.
If they heard this, they're up now because mom's coming home.
Anyway, let me tell you quickly.
hot.
Let me tell you quickly about one of the most important things I've done in my life. And if you're new to the program, we got a lot of people watching, 15,300 just on Rumble. Got another 570 or so on X. And welcome if you're new. My thing that I do is I tell the truth, and I tell you I don't lie to you. I don't lie to you with the sources. I don't lie to you if I make a mistake. I don't lie to you about my sponsors. And if I'm going to tell you about a sponsor, you're going to know damn well that I use that product Okay. I'm not going to sit here and be like, ooh, some sponsor is giving me money to tell you something. No, I want to believe in it before I ask you to believe in it, because I know you believe in me. This is it. It's called Blood Flow 7. bloodflow7.com/Wendy. In 3 hours after taking this, and I'm going to tell you how I know this, right? Yesterday morning, I took my Blood Flow 7. What it does is it's a molecule, nitric oxide, which makes your blood vessels enlarge, open up, so you get more blood flow to your body. You're like, so? Well, there's a hill in my neighborhood. Brock has walked it with me with Sinatra and with Murphy. You know that hill that takes you up that back way, Brock, up along the side, and we were huffing and puffing, and Sinatra almost died on the way. You're like dragging him home, right? We huff and puff walking up this. It's like this. And you kind of got to stop for a minute. I'm in relatively good shape. I hadn't walked this part of the walk on Blood Flow 7 before. So yesterday morning, I woke up, took it. We did the Sunday show. And then I took Murphy. We went into the woods. I walked full pace, as much as my foot would let me, because, you know, it's bad foot, up that hill. And I did not stop, and I did not die. I'm telling you, this makes a difference in everything that you do. Physical exercise, abso-freaking-lutely. But just your average day, you're like, you can go through a brick wall. Stamina like you've never felt before. And then at the end of the day, you crawl in bed and you sleep like a boulder. You have problems sleeping? bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Get Alpha Gold Male if you're a man. It's that formula, but with extra for your testosterone, for you men, you beautiful men, all by yourselves. Okay? bloodflow7.com. I've ordered Alpha Gold Male for all 5 of my sons. That's how serious I am about it. Give it 1 week and then email me, wendybellradio@gmail.com, and be like, girl, you are all of that and you're gorgeous. And I'll say, oh, thank you. At least tell me that you like Blood Flow 7. That's all.
Yeah.
And I've gotten wonderful reviews about it.
And tell her you rumbled.
Yes. We have a bazillion people and we have 2.28 rumbles. So that's the thumbs up bubble underneath the video box. If you would hit that for me.
If you're new,
join the
follow button.
Yeah, hit the follow button. We're trying to get 100,000 views or followers, which is a huge goal, by Easter. I think it's doable. I know it's doable because I got you guys. Tim Walz, 2019, little flashback here on the Wendy Bell Radio program. Welcome back, by the way. Hey, if you have not downloaded our podcast, Wendy Bell Radio, wherever you get it, 6 million people have. Like, what are you doing? Right? Okay, back to Tim Walz. So back in 2019, he's newly elected governor, right? Oh, I'm going to do all these wonderful things. He's like, look, the whitewashing of Somalian child care fraud started happening with this cat 6 years ago. He's like, look, we know that Minnesota is a hub of some fraudulent behavior. We're going to own it. This administration, we're going to... A willow white bread wussy dude in Tim Walz is going to own nothing except calling you a white supremacist, racist, okay? But let's go back, 2019. Let's hear what Tim Walz, then just newly crowned governor, what he was saying about fraud.
I want to be clear that the legislative audit report gave us a clear path. It told us that we could do better, and just like Minlar's, I now own that. And I own the fix for that. But I do want to be clear, before we take some other questions on this, that what needs to stop is a demonization of one community involved in this. What needs to stop is an absolutely unproven storyline that continues to resurface on the House floor, that this money went to terrorists and it's targeted at one group of our citizens here, of Minnesotans. We'll own that this thing needs to be fixed. We'll own that there were problems in this. We will own that there are fixes, and we think we proposed the right amount, but we're open to that to try and close this. But again, I am not going to allow folks to use this as a hammer against a group of people.
It's all one giant racket, ladies and gentlemen. And he was telling you back then, be careful. Don't you be talking about these Somalians, because if you do, you're racist. How freaking dare you? How dare you? I've never wanted to throw punch and throw down the stairs somebody as much in the last 24 hours as I do Tim Walz. I had to qualify that, right? All right, so I want you to hear. So Nick Shirley gets picked up by Fox last night, right? And they're like, hey, Nick, how do you feel about what's going on? The clip is going to start with Tim Walz accusing anybody asking questions of targeting minority communities. We want to rehear that. I want you to hear Nick Shirley's response when the Fox babe is like, so are you worried about somebody calling you names? Sister, what the heck? Let's go.
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
So it sounds to me, Nick, that Governor Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
Yeah, Tim wants votes. There are entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over and they're inside of these towns like Minneapolis, where they can go get votes from these people. And if you have 100,000 people that will vote for you because you're going to enable and let this stuff happen, and because you're going to call a white person racist for calling out facts, this is what's going to happen to a state like Minnesota. Minnesotans, they say Minnesota nice, but they are very upset. And I fully understand why they're upset, because they don't have a governor who's actually working for them. He's actually working against them.
Actually working against them. There you have more sanity, more sage perspective in a 23-year-old freaking YouTuber who decided to start digging into something that he knew smelled wrong. He did more than the attorney general of the state did. He did more than the governor did. He did more than the media did, save maybe Liz Collin from Alpha News, who's been on this like freaking white on rice. But when she blew in all of the George Floyd nonsense, by my, didn't she kind of get excommunicated? Joey Jones asks Nick Shirley, so, sir, you've exposed this. You've given us the receipts. We have a 42-minute video in which you chronicle more than $100 million of stolen fraudulent taxpayer money. Yes? What do you think happens next, sir? Listen.
Nick, your video's been viewed 93 million times. What do you think will be the result of this? Do you think that things will change because of bringing attention to this, or do you think it'll be much the same, swept under the rug and keep moving forward?
Yeah, there better be change. People are demanding it. The investigations have been launched just from that video alone. And so there better be change because, like I said, we work way too hard to be paying taxes. We work way too hard to be not knowing where our money's going. And at the end of the day, the people in the government, they work for us. We don't work for them. And so it's their responsibility to hold these people accountable. And so if there's not something that's happened, people are going to be very frustrated. And so if President Trump's watching this, it's time to really get down to nitty-gritty and to make a difference in this place of Minnesota that is pretty much like Somaliland right now.
Somaliland right now. Remember, Melissa Hordman and her husband were executed in the doorway of their homes. A Democrat in the Minnesota General Assembly because she voted down and sunk a measure that would have given illegal aliens, like all of these Somalians, free health care. Murdered. And that story was swept under the rug as quickly as can be. Interesting, isn't it? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, hour number 2, let's talk about the reaction. Tom Emmer, Minnesota Republican. Oh, it's outrageous. Please. Where you been, Rhino? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I hate everyone. Okay. It sure doesn't feel very friendly for me to say that, which is why I am so freaking excited. All right, so what did I just tell you guys? I told you that I don't share with you sponsors that I don't use. I won't get paid by a company whose products I think don't work, or whose customer service fails you. You've watched in live time as we've stopped supporting companies whose products I use every day because their email nonsense is such a hassle. It's not worth it. And so I was like, not worth it to me. So when Healthy Cell came out with Calm Mood, I was like, how you doing? The whole idea is getting supplements into your body that bypass legitimately the gut juices, the acid that really get a little bit more benign as we age. And so they don't tear down some of the tablets and the pills that we take for supplements. Healthy Cell, knowing this, was like, let's create a vessel by which we can get people excellent non-prescription supplements that gets into their system fast, absorbed more quickly and more efficiently. That actually makes a difference. Bada bang, there's healthycell.com. So you've got these microgels. They're like little, go-go squeezes. Whoop, slurp it in, done. They've got one now that's new, that's really special, and it's about bone strength. How about this? Where'd it go? Oh, it's so weird because it's called bone strength. And being a woman over the age of 50, I find this particular offering very intriguing. What can I take that's going to prevent osteoporosis? What am I going to do that's going to help me as I age as a relatively slender, tall woman? What am I going to do? Well, right here. Peel it off. It's tropical flavored. It's like delicious. Like, when was the last time you're like, ooh, I really like my supplement? No, you're like, this is different. 165% faster absorbed, more absorbed into your body than pills. And all of these formulas, from hair, skin, and nails to your vision, to your blood sugar, to your blood pressure, to your immune system, to calm mood, to all sorts of things, right? The focus and recall that I take every day at 8:15, or the REM sleep that Brock uses to crash every night. This is it. This is our brand. healthycell.com/Wendy. It will revolutionize your life and get you off of things that you might be paying a lot more money for that your body is not absorbing. Healthy as that. healthycell.com/Wendy.
17.5 watching.
I don't know.
Welcome.
How can you tear away? Right?
Give us a follow. Give us a rumble.
Yeah, we're very basic. We don't charge for anything. But what we do, which is very interesting. Hold on. So I put out a rundown every single day. I give it to Brock. We give it to Newsmax. We put it out there because Newsmax takes this hour of our show live, which is great. But it has every source, every website, every soundbite, even shows time codes that I've asked Brock to edit. All of it at your fingertips. If you like to be that much in the know, we put it out 3 hours before airtime, 4 hours before airtime, which is huge. You get to know, get to see, get to follow along. All you have to do is go to, what's the easiest way, Brock? Just hit the Army button, the red.
WBR Army. Go to locals, Wendy Bell Radio.
It's $5 a month, but because we're not money grubbers, we only charge you for 10 months. So it's...
They kind of make us.
So, but I think it's totally worth, I think it's the best $5 a month you will ever spend. Period. I'm biased, I admit that, but it's true. All right, what else can I tell you about? Hold on. I've got more in the grab bag. You guys and your holiday gifts are preposterous, all right? So hang tight. We're in a commercial break. We've got like 3 minutes, and I would love to get 3,000 rumbles, for heaven's sakes. 269. We need 310, and I know you can hit us. You can get us there. That's how you, I don't know, how you vote. And see, on the Wendy Bell radio program, we don't steal your vote by putting some illegal taking it from you. I want to say thank you very much. This is a very sweet idea. Hello from Evans City. I'm a longtime listener since before the basement days, and I absolutely love your show. I listen at work every day. I've even ordered some merch from your app. I'm enclosing with this note, a T-shirt and 2 patches from the first annual. I can't read her handwriting. It's a specific fundraiser, and it's very cute. She sent us this great T-shirt. Corey's Cruise. Very nice. And 2 patches. That's how you get your things promoted, isn't that? I like how you thought that way. That was from Sharon. Pittsburgh Sharon. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that more than you know. Hold on. Oh, fudgesicles. I keep ripping my microphone or my headsets out of the thing. All right. This is from West Grove, Pennsylvania. Yes, indeed. That is a fact. I love this, and I love you for sending it. Let's see.
It's funny.
You're not like everyone else, it says. I know. I need therapy, right? And then it says, everyone else is horrible. When I saw this card and gift, I thought I need to send this to my good friend Wendy. I've listened to you and Brock every day, if not live. I never missed the podcast. Been following you since 2020. Missed the BS board and the beautiful orange flower picture in your kitchen. You are my only news source. Your integrity and honesty have won me over for life. Thank you for doing the hard work that I'm unable to do. Hang up this tea towel now, since I know you'll be moving away soon to a much redder neighborhood and state. You're truthful, brave, and courageous. Thanks again for speaking for so many of us. I'm honored to know you, and bless you. I love my Chef IQ too. Love, Karen. And Karen sends me a picture of her grandkids.
And if you're new in the chat,
is that the sweetest thing you ever saw?
Drop it in the chat.
Yeah, tell us where you're from. We want to know where you're from.
Please follow.
Thank you very much for that. That delights me.
Because our times are changing next week.
Yeah, we want you to know we're not going to be here 9 to noon. We're going to change noon to 3. And we're going to take on all the white middle-aged guys out there. I'm going to kick their ass. I don't know, but we're going to have a good time getting more sleep. That's all. That's all I knew. 2.81. Come on, people. We need literally 190 people to get to 3,000.
4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared. You from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell Radio Program is live and on the clock. And you know what? I want to say to Nick Shirley, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for doing in one day, or however many days it took you to put that together. To put together a video that is in its entirety 42 minutes of the most outrageous, egregious fraud conducted by people who were ushered into this country illegally and given everything under the sun that you paid for. They get health insurance that you don't get. They get housing that you're not afforded. They get tax breaks, the millions of dollars that these Somalians are charging the federal government and their Minnesota government. Do they pay taxes on that? I highly doubt that, right? And one dude, 23-year-old kid with a gray hoodie, hooks up with a fella who's been paying attention because he knows. Just like the homeless guy who was able to crack the case of the MIT professor shooter and the guy who shot up Brown University, killing 2 people, a freaking homeless guy paying attention does more to thwart a crime, find a killer, than your local authorities, than your FBI. Really? Yeah. Yeah. See, we all have this God-given gift. It's called curiosity and it's called freedom. Nobody can take that away from you. In one afternoon, as he went viral, Nick Shirley not only exposed the fraud, he showed you the level of depravity and complicit, complacent corruption within the Minnesota government. And he put a knife in the freaking mainstream media of suck. They don't do their jobs. They are propagandists. And the sooner everybody out there figures it out and finds someone, whether it's me and this Wendy Bell radio program 3 hours a day, or it's following people like Nick, there are voices out there sharing with you the truth. The question is, what are you willing to do with it? That's the question. Tom Emmer, House Majority Whip. This guy is a zero. He is a rhino. I've never trusted him. Don't tell me he didn't know this crap was going on back in the day. He's going to come out now that Nick Shirley has exposed all of the fraud in Minnesota, and he's going to go, this is just outrageous. We need to throw the book at Tim Walz. Well, you know what? I agree with you, sir. Where the hell have you been, Congressman?
Well, it's amazing to me that a 23-year-old journalist, a YouTuber, who's now got over 80 million views on this thing, found more in a matter of hours than Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, our Attorney General, have found in 7 years, Mike. I got to tell you, we've known in Minnesota about the daycare fraud for a decade. Keith Ellison is our current Attorney General. His predecessor, Lori Swanson, was actually investigating the daycare fraud and prosecuting back in 2017 and 18. As soon as Ellison became the Attorney General and Walz became the governor, all of that stopped. And now you see the result. Billions of dollars, it has been alleged, that they have fraudulently built out of Minnesota. There was a housing stabilization program that was created in 2020. It's through the Medicaid program, a different one other than daycare. They spent $161 million. It was estimated it was going to be $2 million a year, Mike. From 2020 until they shut it down in October, it was $161 million. This daycare fraud, there's one woman in particular who created a fake daycare and built $14 million on her own. This thing is huge. Tim Walz is absolutely singing a false song.
Really? What about you, Tom? Where have you been, dude? I haven't really seen you talking about it. We've known about this for a decade. Well, good luck. Good luck in the state of Minnesota with representatives like that in Congress. You're cooked. You're cooked. Did you hear Ron Johnson, senator from Wisconsin? He's like, look, I'm the chairman of the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations. I'm not sitting around on this one. Go.
First of all, we need to put all kinds of pressure on the state agencies to give us their records. I'm chairman of the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations. This will be a primary focus of ours. We're already reaching out to Nick Shirley and David and other people who can provide testimony for this, but we also need documents. So, these agency heads who funnel the federal money to the state agencies, they have to demand that the state agencies are transparent. And unfortunately, particularly in Democrat-controlled states, they're not. They're refusing to turn over those records. I've got subpoena power. I will use that subpoena power to obtain these records because we have to get to the bottom of this. Understand, Somalis have just been in this country a few years. They're amateurs when it comes to fleecing the federal government. And let's face it, the federal government is probably the easiest consumer, the easiest payer to fleece, and states do it time and time again. So this is just the tip of the iceberg.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. Well, here's the thing about Congress, Senator. It takes for freaking ever. How long is it going to take, sir? We're still waiting for Bill and Hillary to decide to testify before House oversight. No one's above the law. There's not two tiers of justice in this country. Oh, please. See, the problem is we've lost faith in all of you. I mean, duh, what do you do to earn it? One must ask. Dustin Gray, he's a writer over at townhall.com. He's talking about the abject lack of oversight or site visits of the hundreds of healthcare providers in Minnesota. I told you at the beginning in the monologue, I wanted to serve lunch in the cafeteria for my children when they were in Catholic elementary school. I had to go through a 3-hour class, get fingerprinted, and get a criminal background check that I had to pay for the privilege of working for free for my Catholic school. I got more screened than the Somalian child care center providers did. That is a disgrace.
In these 14 high-risk programs right now, Jason, site visits aren't even required in many cases. We actually had a recent jury conviction get overturned by a judge here in Minnesota. And in that case, a DHS investigator stated that, well, we couldn't go investigate it to find out that this business was just simply run out of a P.O. box and was legitimate. We can't afford to do that. But for some reason, we can now afford anywhere from $8 to $19 billion in fraud, but we can't afford to do site visits. And one of the funny videos you'll see out there recently is Nick Shirley coming to Minnesota, a learning center, except the problem in this case, and this is how you know these site visits aren't actually occurring, because on the side of the building it says Learning Center. They couldn't even spell Learning Center correctly. And that just goes to show how deep the fraud is and how people are unwilling to investigate it at all. It's absurd.
Absurd. Well, meantime, the mayor of Lexington, Minnesota, small town, population a handful of thousand, Mike Murphy is his name. He's like, look, meantime, as this is going on and this fraud in the billions of dollars that everybody freaking knows about, there's a palpable trickle-down effect in my community. We need a new water treatment plant. The water treatment plant costs more than $10 million. We can't freaking afford it because we're being fleeced.
Us as small cities, the things that we face is, like, my city, for example, needs water infrastructure. The city my size is around 4,000 people, but it's nearly impossible to try to fund a $10 million water plant with a 4,000 person city. So we're forced to buy it from our neighboring communities. But if there wasn't so much fraud, waste, and abuse, Minnesota Griff, there would be money available for us to build that water treatment facility for our residents. That's the point that us mayors are trying to make, is there's so much waste in the state that there's nothing left for the people that matter, which is us.
And what do you do? What's business? What business is surviving there? What business? How is the holiday shopping season in downtown Minneapolis? Well, a citizen journalist walked down to the street and gives you the bird's eye view of 4 different corners that used to be very busy department stores, boarded up, nothing going on. Business is dead in Minneapolis.
I'm here in downtown Minneapolis, and I want to show you all what a thriving downtown this is not. I'm standing right outside of Nordstrom Rack. This Nordstrom Rack is closed. I looked up to see why it's closed, and it just says, well, it's closed because we can't suit you so well here anymore. On this corner right here is Dayton's. This used to be a busy shopping center right here. That corner right there is vacant, and that corner right there is also vacant. Here we are, Christmas season, height of shopping season here in America, and this downtown is dead. There's actually no stores to shop at. People don't come to downtown Minneapolis anymore because they say it's too dangerous. There's a lot of homeless people and a lot of drug addicts. People aren't coming down here. People in Minnesota don't feel safe to come and shop in Minneapolis. So therefore, stores have closed, retail has left, and Nordstrom Rack that took up a whole city block is no longer here. And department stores, they've left this city. Who wants to come down to a downtown where it's dangerous, too dangerous to walk around, to shop? Park your car. Tim Walz, this is your city.
Minneapolis is broken, my friends. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, shaming Americans into not speaking out. They try to censor you with all of their, fact checkers and all the people in social media. Now shaming you by threatening you with a racist label. Really? Bring it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Dr. Charles Simkovich, you guys, and I know while we still have a very nice audience here, SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. When I tell you about a doctor who changes people's lives by putting his fingers in their mouths and feeling in the soft palate and adjusting their neck and moving their jaw, pulling on their head and moving things around. If I told you that 3 or 4 days in Dr. Simkovich's office, couple hours at a pop, could fundamentally change your life and give you back the joy you lost after a traumatic brain injury, would you believe me? Because you should. If I told you that if you suffer from chronic headaches and you've gone to every expert in the world, and there's nothing like that, suffering like that, been there, done that, I'll tell you, never forget. If I told you you could get rid of all of your migraines, would it be worth it? If you had essential tremors and your hands shook all the time and you couldn't control them and you couldn't live a normal life, you couldn't drink a cup of coffee without spilling it, you couldn't put on lipstick without looking like you were having a seizure. If I told you you could go see Dr. Simkovich and he could heal you, would you believe it? Because you should. 412-366-3700. I've seen it. I know it. I believe in it. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com, 412-366-3700. Yes, it's Pittsburgh. Yes, people travel from all over the country to go through this treatment. And yes, they get healed. Life-changing. 412-366-3700. Brock sure has to go to the bathroom an awful lot now that he's 50. It's curious. He's up and down and up and down. What's going on? Hey, let's see who's new. Anybody new? Hi, Freebird. Hi, Happy Barbie Blonde. What's going on, LMS CS? Hi, Darius. It's nice to see you. What's up, Mama J4? Hi, King Henry. And Salty Dog for you. Hello, Pony Express guy. Hello, Vipers. Hi, Demanda. Demanda, how's the tattoo? Hi, Myron. Hi, Vincent Lagardia Gambini. How you doing? Hi, Renee. What's going on? Hi, Soylent Goy.
Over 150 new followers today. Hit that follow button.
Oh, that's fantastic. Like literally we need to hit 150 to 200 a day for us to hit for us to be on pace. I kind of see it that way, don't you, Brock?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we need it to be pretty severe. Like hot. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What else is going on? Let's see who.
We just want you to follow. We don't want you to have to look at the leaderboard to get us every day.
Conga time. What's going on, Carla Hare? Hi, babe. What's going on, Stag? Hi, Judy Gill. Hi, Pippi and Kiki and EK. I love you back.
Tom Emmers.
Oh, you're brand new. Hey, EK Harris. How nice to have you. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Cat
Tom.
2024 USA's newbie too.
Oh, that's wonderful. You are hot. Do you have a single cis? Thanks, 1991 combat vet.
No.
That's sweet. I don't, but you're great. Thank you. It's called the filter too. I'm at 50% right now.
Just 50?
I'm just gonna. Wow. Yeah. Good morning, Kimba. Hi, Joanne. York, PA. Who's the furthest away? Do you guys believe?
Sally Matt. Very smart to air Xmas. I'm a new fan. That's why we work.
Yeah, I love you. Hey, Fiona, I love you back. Thank you. Found you the other day, Junebug says, and now I'm hooked. Thank you. I appreciate it. Did you read the, oh, shucks. Did you read The Great Controversy yet?
No, but she did see National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
This emotional connection. It's weird. I mean, I think as emotional creatures, we are, I don't know, we can easily succumb to pressure based on tugging of heartstrings, right? I think the whole emotion base of the Democrat, liberal, progressive, wacko, communist, socialist, Marxist nonsense, I find it very interesting to watch because these people, I do believe, really believe that they are good people, you know? The liberals out there are like, oh, we're fighting for people. We're such good people. And you're like, well, how about that these people are defrauding you and that they make your taxes go up and that they're ripping you off and that people are getting hurt? You don't interrupt me, right? They can't process the facts. When facts and feelings are in the same bubble, they're like, no. And we're like, come on. This is very easy to follow. It's not complicated to do your research, right? Well, the whole idea is if you question, if you ask a question, if you are doubting in any way, if you're not hook, line, and sinker down on their side, you're somehow a threat. You're a threat. You're an ist. You're an obe. You're a homophobe. You're a racist, misogynist, what have you. Well, you know what? Nick Shirley and his guy, David, who's really the main whistleblower in this Minnesota fraud explosion, right? They say, look, Somalis vote as this one block. That's all you need to know. And anything that these Democrats can do to get the Somalis to put them in their voting block, they will do, which is why we're in this position in Minnesota that we are in. Listen to this.
The Somali community is a very closed community. They will not speak to anyone outside the community and talk about what's going on within the community. They vote as a block. And so when you're a politician, you're saying, look, I've got 100,000 people in Minnesota that if I do something for the community, they're going to vote for me. And that's what it's all about, is getting the votes. And then the people here in Minnesota, you hear this term, Minnesota nice. I'm so sick of that term. The people here are so afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe. And they're afraid of their own shadow. And I don't understand. This is our future generations are going to have to pay for all this fraud. And they just want to bury their heads in the sand and go on and just not worry about it.
PJmedia.com. How long before Tim Walz faces indictment? The big question on everybody's mind right now must be, when is that indictment for the fraud that didn't merely take place on his watch, but was allegedly allowed to continue unchecked? It's a fair question, given the circumstances. The political ground beneath Walz is looking increasingly shaky. Between mounting scrutiny and unresolved allegations, things are not breaking in his favor. So independent journalist Nick Shirley and his crew hit the streets. They sniffed out over $110 million of fraud in a single day. Right? So now Elon Musk is straight up calling on prosecutors to go after the governor. He said, prosecute Governor Tim Walz. It is potentially the biggest fraud scam in American history, right? So prediction markets sense production or prosecution is coming as well. Kalshi pegs the odds of Walz facing federal charges at 69% by 2027. Every road in this scandal leads back to Tim Walz. And more people are starting to realize that this story is going to end badly for him. Is this why Kamala Harris chose Tim Walz? Is this why the DNC anointed this goofy moron, corrupt zero to be the governor, to be the vice presidential nominee for the Democratic Party? Because he was already in a money laundering operation so ridiculous. Hell, maybe it could benefit the DNC that sucked about $1.5 billion when Kamala went on her spending spree in 107 days, right? So betting odds, Tim Walz will be indicted by 2027. Is that soon enough for you? No, not even close. Every single road leads back to him. And the whole idea that if you say something that they're going to come for you, bring it. I'm reminded of one person, because Nick Shirley did for Minnesota and for all of us. He gave us the roadmap. He gave us the details. He gave us the guy with all of the papers, all of the proof. He did what Garrett Ziegler did with the laptop from Al. He handed it to Congress on a silver platter and said, here is every allegation, here is every iota of evidence you need. Now, what are you going to do with it? That is the $1 million question. Or in the case of Minnesota, the $18 billion question. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Fonnie Willis was hoping Nick Shirley would smoke screen her own legal debacle, but she was wrong. Money laundering, Act Blue, anyone? What next? I hate everyone. I know it's easy to say that. I'm going to run to the bathroom, Brock. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back.
I don't know if the administration can move fast enough anymore. They just need to start putting people on notice, get the ball rolling. I mean, I'll take getting the ball rolling. Like at some point, you have to look at what Nick Shirley did and be like, okay, well, if he did what the Minnesota government didn't do, how about everybody that's a state employee that did no checkups, just cashed the checks, just sent the checks out? Why do they still have jobs? That should be easy enough to fire them. You did not do your job. Gone. You don't do your job. We don't do our job. You don't get paid. You don't have a job. That's where it needs to at least get the ball rolling with that. Because, going after Tim Walz, absolutely 100% needs to be done. But you need to kneecap the people under him too, because these people, what are they being paid for? To me, them not doing their job is just as much fraud as the Somalis taking the money. You giving it out that's not yours to give. You're not checking in for the kids, and these are the Democrats who scream and yell about taking care of your kids. Now, they'll do that if your 3-year-old wants to transition. They'll yell and scream about that. But these kids that were never checked, these healthcare facilities, they're providing nothing. Show me the receipts. This is easy to get this fraud. Easy. Can I just tell you, not that you have to do it now.
Oh,
but,
this is for you.
In December, where'd she go? Oh. Yeah. Get rid of state government. Your state government has done in Minnesota has done nothing for you.
I'm sorry. Were you talking to me that there was something you wanted me to do?
No, I just wanted to tell you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to
in
them.
December, you guys bought almost 2,000 bottles of Hunt Chef seasoning.
Oh.
That's just
Wait. Whoa. They bought how many?
1,829 bottles of seasoning in December.
That's not possible. Is it possible?
That's what my guy says.
Disinfectwithsniper.com. It's one of those websites where you go and you look at the products and you're like, this is really weird. How does a weed killer, an organic bug spray, and an antibacterial hospital strength disinfectant work with spices? And you're like, this makes no sense. And it doesn't have to, because all of this stuff is fantastic. That's how it's connected. Everything is delicious or works fantastically. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfect with Sniper. If you do nothing to make yourself well this winter, get this.
Yes.
Sniper. Brock and I use it. I use it every single day in my house. Look, it's liquid, obviously. So you're like, I don't want to pay for that shipping. Well, you're in luck. It's free shipping. Free shipping. Because the guy who owns this wants to compete with Amazon. And he doesn't want you to pay for shipping. So he's undercutting Amazon to get his Sniper to you. Best thing you'll ever have in your life. Safe for everything. Kills every germ, odor, bacteria, fungal infections. You have athlete's foot, go like that, gone. It's ridiculous what it does. Disinfectwithsniper.com.
I wipe down the kitchen.
I have one
constantly.
on every floor in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it sound like I have a palatial estate, which I don't, but I have different, And I have one in my car.
I have them in the bathroom, my cigar room, kitchen.
Everywhere. It's the best. The best. Is it time for us to reapply some makeup? Yes, it is. What's going on, everybody? I'm a new
12-5
listener.
hanging.
Robot 256.
331. Let's go.
Yeah, we're super desperate to get to that 4K zone again. And that would be
we're
great.
the one thing I'm going to hound on every day this week, so you guys are aware. Noon to 3, starting Monday. Next Monday, noon to 3.
Move the needle a lot. Okay. There you go. I know. How is it possible that she can do that? I don't know.
I love seeing all the new people. The chat's flying by, so it's hard to grab.
I know. 12-4 hanging steady. Thank you. Look, this isn't complicated. I'm a mom. Like, I'm sure I'm a former television news anchor and reporter. Like, whatever. He's done 20 odd years in radio. You put those together like peanut butter and chocolate, and you have people who are tired of the news sucking, of the industry lying and being deceitful, who are like, all right, let's team up. Let's work harder than everybody else, and let's just go kick some independent ass.
Amen.
God bless America. There's so many more talented individuals out there who could have been a DA, who could have done anything in Fulton County, Georgia. But there was only one, Fani Willis, and man, did she absolutely knock it out of the park, right? She got all that, black woman, that's right, don't mess with me thing going on, with zero of the skill or the brain power behind it to back it up. And here's what I mean. If you're going to go after a former president who's arguably going to run for president again, and you're going to accuse that individual of meddling to overturn the election results of 2020, you damn well better have ironclad proof. But what she had was her box checking, don't you ask me that, that's racist. And then what'd she do? She hired a guy who was a divorce attorney who she was banging. And she paid him 24 hours a day, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he paid for lavish trips for them to fly all over the world, right? It's like, dang, that sounds like a great gig. Ew. And so now all the walls are closing in on her. And you have to ask yourself, how are these people found? How is Letitia James? How is she anointed? Well, with the money from George Soros. How about Alvin Bragg? Oh, similar. How about Fani Willis? All of these low IQ individuals who in their own auspices are dubious characters anyway, right? They've got to be put up for it somehow. What's the compensation? There's got to be, is there a best-selling book deal or something for you? I don't know, but we're going to connect some dots here with Fani Willis and Act Blue, because this is more than borderline shady. It's screamingly corrupt. Gateway Pundit headline, Fani Willis hit with explosive new allegations tied to massive Democrat money laundering scheme. Now, I wonder if people are selected to be these positions and that they're selected because they're minorities, the same way Tim Walz is finger wagging anybody in Minnesota against criticizing the Somalians. You don't want to be called a racist, do you? Well, I really don't care about that, so bring it. You can call it to me all day long. Is that why they selected black individuals to fill these jobs? I don't know. But if they think that we won't criticize and ask questions, they're wrong. Here's your story. Evidence shows Fani Willis is involved with massive money laundering. On November 29th, 2025, Fox News published an article in which they stated Fulton County DA Fani Willis, an elected Democrat, is a disgrace to her office and the legal profession. She tried to bring down President Trump with a politically motivated indictment, but her vendetta came crashing to a pitiful end. Well, the article was spot on. Fani Willis had several serious ethical issues. As the aforementioned article points out, she hired her secret and married boyfriend, Nathan Wade, who had never tried a felony case. You're going after the president of the United States, arguably the most important person on planet Earth. Let's just hire this guy anyway. Makes no sense. Nathan Wade had been a lawyer in private practice and a municipal court judge. Somehow he found his way onto Willis's team, raking in $250 an hour from Fulton County taxpayers. He billed 8-hour days constantly, and he even billed 24 hours on one occasion. He wound up taking home almost $700,000. Fani Willis does indeed deserve to be prosecuted for her moral and prosecutorial misconduct. She also deserves to be prosecuted, this particular article says, for her role in money laundering. Investigative reporter Bob Cushman of the Freedom Press has just uncovered Fani Willis's involvement with massive, in fact, money laundering. And it's a whole list of donations here, right? Not giant numbers. You may notice if you view these documents, which you'd be linked to on our site, Fani Willis, all these donations reported by the state of Georgia. What you'll see, however, is intriguing and shocking. According to the state of Georgia, Fani Willis has received $2.8 million in campaign contributions. Who the hell is contributing to this woman? Do you believe that there are 70,000 people, 72,688, in fact, donations? 72,688 donations from people out there from other states that only average $39.15 each, all to one person, Fani Willis. And one astounding fact here is that 83% of all of the donations reveal no name and no address. It seems the state of Georgia has allowed elected officials, not to report the identities of donors whose donation is less than $100. It's a great way to fly under the radar, ain't it? It's a golden recipe for campaign finance fraud. And that's where this investigative reporter Cushman comes in. He performed an analysis of the donors who were listed and easily encountered the following illicit straw donors, aka Smurfs. He could have found hundreds more, but it is a very time-consuming process. The following Fani Willis Smurfs are listed below. These 10 pretend donors comprise a total of $1.7 million when viewed in the FEC, Federal Elections Database. These 73,000 donations only average $24.24 apiece. Keep in mind that we're examining and judging these Smurfs. These are people who have donated before, whose identities have been stolen, so that it appears that these individuals are giving thousands of individual donations every year. You'll remember James O'Keefe, formerly of Project Veritas, but now of the O'Keefe Media Group, OMG, knocked on these doors and went up to people in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. Hello, Mr. Johnson. My name is James O'Keefe. I'd like to verify that you made 74,000 individual donations to Fani Willis last year. Is that possible? No, it wasn't me, you don't say. These 10 pretend donors comprise a total of $1.7 million when viewed in this database. Their donations only average $24 a piece, as is usually the case. The average age of these Smurfs is 70, which is the senior category. And you can easily verify this information, which I spent some time over the weekend doing. So the reporter decided to further compare Fani Willis's Smurf donations to those of previous recipients and participants of money laundering. When the information is compared, it can be seen that the Fani Willis Smurfs have also donated to the following: Gretchen Whitmer, to the DNC, to Progressive Takeover, to Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Cory Booker, Mark Kelly, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, Alyssa Slotkin, Raphael Warnock, John Ossoff, Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Gary Peters, John Fetterman, Hakeem Jeffries, and Maggie for New Hampshire. Where are these people from? If they're donating to Fani Willis and she's in Georgia, why would Agnes Mallard of Kansas City, Missouri, 65 years old, make 905 donations to Fani Willis for a total of $14,800? Makes no sense. Why would Juliana Bancroft from Los Angeles, also 65, give money to Fonnie Willis 1,444 times for $182,000? Wow. She must really like herself some Fonnie Willis, right? How about Judith Trother from Seattle, 76? She's given 1,000 times for $8,700. But here's the big one. Here's the big cheese. Leanne Russ from Bethesda, Maryland, gave Fonnie Willis in Georgia $539,000 by making 9,983 donations. Ladies and gentlemen, does that sound even remotely reasonable to you? Of course not. Of course not. Don't you see now how the money gets laundered? We're going to bring in foreign donors. We're not going to find out who the money is coming from, whether it's George Soros, Klaus Schwab, anybody else out there. We're going to have a pot of money, but we need to get it into the coffers of people we are choosing, who we know are corrupt, who are on the payroll. And we need to get these Smurfs donations to them. Do you really believe that there are 73,000 people out there who would ever give money to Fonnie Willis? Really? It's like, do you believe that Joe Biden was the most voted for president in American history? And nobody, not one, last year gave 1 red cent to his presidential library fund? Colton Moore is all over it. He's a Georgia state senator. I followed him for a while. He's running for Marjorie Taylor Greene's 14th congressional seat. He's like, look, congratulations to Nick Shirley for using his freedom of speech and freedom of expression to go out there and do what needs to be done. Expose fraud, just like Fonnie Willis's, that Colton Moore has called out ad nauseum.
Everybody, I am so pumped up right now. Have y'all been watching these videos of Nick Shirley exposing the billions of dollars of fraud coming out of Minnesota? I mean, what Nick Shirley recognizes is what we should all recognize. The only way to defend freedom is to use freedom itself. He took a camera, a little bit of courage, and his freedom of expression to expose what the big corporate media won't even touch. You see, the only way evil triumphs is for good people to do nothing. I love exposing evil. Like when we exposed Fonnie Willis or the 2020 election fraud before anyone else. You see, that's what it takes to get the ball rolling. I would encourage you to get involved and take action. Get into the arena. I'm running for Congress to bring that same fight to Washington, D.C., and I need your help. Let's call out evil. Let's use freedom to defend freedom.
%. So this money laundering operation through Act Blue. And what did this president and his administration do? They cut the head off the snake. Same thing as USAID. Cut the head off the snake. Same thing they're doing down with the drugs in the Caribbean and in the Eastern Pacific. Cutting off the head of the snake of the money. Blowing it up in the water. Exposing it for what it is. Can you imagine how much more you'd be able to afford if your taxes came down to the commensurate level that extracted the degree of fraud? Can you imagine? What's the number? 50% of what we pay is sucked out by fraud. 60%, 80%? What's the number? Because 1% is too much. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Walmart making a move. It is pulling its last 2 stores out of this deep blue sanctuary city. Why? And can you guess which city? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. This Gateway Pundit article is pretty extensive. And if you follow along and you click and read along, it might take you an hour to get through it. So I gave you like the brief thumbnail sketch of it. But there are 52 donors identified, 52 Smurfs who have given both to, or given to Fonnie Willis, to Kamala Harris, to Chuck Schumer, to the DCCC, the DSCC, the DNC, Cory Booker, all these people. 52 people have given $9.9 million. No, they haven't. Their identities aren't provided. So we're going to just nickel and dime you. We're going to give you all of these donations in these small increments. And we think that it's just going to be so hard for you to connect the dots. Sort of like the Biden crime family syndicate, right? We're not going to have $50,000 deposits made to James and Sarah Biden. We're going to do 9,990. We're going to fly under the radar, but we're going to just give you lots of them and hope that throws off the scent. Doesn't. Let me tell you guys about the Healthy Fat, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. This is the drink that I drink every single day. This is the drink that Dr. Gundry invented and lost 70 pounds using, right? It's a dietary supplement. Think of it as a meal supplement. You're going to put a scoop of this in water. You're going to shake it up. You're going to drink it. It's delicious. Unbeknownst to you, it's going to do multiple things in your body. The most important is absolutely crushes your appetite. The craving that you have for a Snicker bar or for a sleeve of Pringles goes away when you drink this. And then lo and behold, what happens? Slow and steady weight loss. A pound every 4 days, maybe 3 or 4 days. You stick with it, 50, 60, 70 pounds, maybe over 6, 7, 8, 9 months. Slowly lets your body get back into shape, right? That fast weight loss is what makes the skin hang off of you. Slow and steady and delicious. And it was invented by a cardiothoracic pediatric heart surgeon who's no dummy. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. I powered through my blueberry. Dang it. So now I'm on the watermelon, which is awesome. Yeah, that's good too. Watermelon lemonade's pretty dang good too. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. I drink it at 10. I'm not hungry again until 4. It's a great meal replacement. Lose the weight. Hi, 12,100 hanging with me. Why would you ever want to leave? Right? Have you rumbled? Let's see. 3.49. I'm not going to say it. Okay, I'm going to say it. 4,000.
So today we started with 78.3. We're now at 78.6.
Keep it going. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks. We've only been doing this for 5 years, waiting for you to show up. Where have you been all my life? Seriously, if you're new, where have you been? Remember, next week, noon to 3. Noon to 3. But until then, how you
25 thumbs downs. Wow.
Nice. Thank you. You know how to make a girl feel special. Hey, if you're not pissing somebody off, what's the point?
Right. First we pissed off the radio stations. Now we pissed off 25.
$50, Froggy. Oh, this is for a bottle of champagne. On groceries. I have all of my kids home right now, which involves all big boys. 3 adults, 2 on their way to adulthood, all of them over 6 feet tall. You can imagine my food bill, right? I go to Walmart every week, and I go to Sam's Club next to the Walmart. And Walmart is a very interesting experiment. It is a weekly flash for me of how society is doing. For a while, I started noticing a lot of people in my local Walmart who clearly are not American. And I was amazed at their overflowing buggies that had everything from household appliances to Cheetos. And I was like, dang, that's got to be $2,000 worth of stuff in there. And they go up with an EBT card and bzz, there you go. And still have $8,000 remaining on the card. I'm like, what is going on? But you can tell a lot in a Walmart. You can tell a lot about the economic wealth health of the people in your community who's shopping there? Well, when Walmart leaves, whether you like Walmart or not, it is a huge blow to a community. Absolutely punishing. There is an entire echelon of lower income people who rely, and I'm not lower income, but I rely on it. Losing your Walmart is a devastating blow for a community. And now, in Portland, it's going away. Sanctuary cities are where businesses go to die. After Walmart announces plans to pull its last 2 stores out of Portland, the answer is maybe somebody will start paying attention. Here's a Fox News report, part 1.
Last week, Fox 12 told you that Walmart is pulling its last 2 stores out of Portland, and the move is now getting national attention. Yesterday, Governor Greg Abbott tweeted about it, saying in part, quote, "This is what happens when cities refuse to enforce the rule of law. It allows the mob to take over. Businesses can't operate in that environment and people can't live in it." Even though Walmart told Fox 12 last week there is no single reason for closing down the store, Fox 12's Connor McCarthy spoke with a business owner who says rampant crime sealed Walmart's fate and has reaction from a city commissioner tonight.
Well, Riel, businesses that I spoke with here on Southeast 82nd Avenue say that crime is dictating the future of this neighborhood. And when business owners heard that Walmart was closing, even though the company says for financial reasons, they interpreted that as an increase in crime, like shoplifting.
Yeah, wouldn't you think? Weren't the Democrats in sanctuary cities like Portland the ones who were like, look, I know your deodorant is behind glass and it's all locked up, but look, if you people out there are going to steal from us, if it's over $950, just make sure you put that on your taxes. We were like, say what? It's almost like rampant theft makes prices go up, makes it unaffordable to do business, makes profit margins go down. Is that kind of like economically right? Well, yeah, let's listen in. Portland is yet another Democrat city in complete collapse.
It's a neighborhood in Southeast Portland that business owner Daryl Hansen says has seen better days.
The whole 82nd's changed, in the last 20 years, especially the last 10 years. It's really gone down here in 5 years. Each year it keeps going down and down and down. More crime, more garbage, more homeless people, more drugs, and there's nobody wants to help.
Daryl has owned and worked out of his muffler shop on Southeast 82nd Avenue near the Eastport Plaza for nearly 40 years. Hearing Walmart is pulling out of his neighborhood a few blocks away isn't a shock to him.
It hurts this community right here when they leave. A lot of people depended on that story.
He blames Walmart's exit on the out-of-control crime in the area. He says he's watched businesses close and friends leave Southeast 82nd Avenue for similar reasons.
I have a lot of friends. I've had friends I deal with before. They said, no, we're leaving Portland. They've left.
Who wants to live in a dying war zone? Who wants to live in a community with boarded up windows? Well, not people in this particular Portland neighborhood.
The Eastport Plaza sits in the Lentz neighborhood, and according to Portland police crime data, between January 2022 and 2023, there were 147 burglaries, 634 personal property thefts, 424 car thefts, 53 robberies, and 3 stolen property offenses. Keep in mind, this is just what's been reported to Portland police. Take a look at this U.S. Post Office on the north side of the Eastport Plaza near the Walmart. Every window is broken with plywood covering the damage, and neighbors say it's been like this for weeks.
Basically going through hell, and we're going through a really sad times that we have no support, no backup.
It's sad. This isn't funny. This isn't some Republican victory lap. The Democrats are killing America one sanctuary freaking city at a time. And if you happen to live in one, you're faced with a really serious problem. Do you stay and watch everything get worse and watch the community you love die and take its last breath? Or do you wave the white flag and leave before it crumbles? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, today's news makes us understand why the left needs the media It's all about controlling the narrative. So what about that 60 Minutes story? Was it really bad enough to get pulled? Apparently, yeah. I've got the independent review next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. That's how I feel about Pittsburgh. You know, it's a crap hole. It's a crap hole. It's a literal crap hole, not the people. Liberals are always going to be toxic, whatevs. But that's not, you've got salt of the earth. Southwestern Pennsylvania, salt of the earth. Some of the finest people, hardworking people you'll ever meet. Patriotic people, people who love profoundly this country. Such good people. And elected leaders who predictably suck. And we just voted in another loser who's going to be another 4 years of nothing. You know? Why stay and watch the decline? It's painful. Your taxes go up, the services go down. It's brutal. And in Pittsburgh, we don't have cops from 3 to 7. There's nobody here in the morning, 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. And so what do the cops do? They hold a press conference to let everybody know about it. Hey, we just got to let everybody know, all right? If you're going to rob somebody, you might want to make it between 3 and 7 because nobody's coming.
Leave a message at the beep.
Leave a message. We'll come. Tomorrow. Maybe. What? What? I don't know. Thank God for guns.
Can I just say we're 310 away from 4K?
I'm not listening to you.
Oh. Well, we have 26 thumbs downs. How about that?
I like that. Hey, I want to tell you guys about Dr. Rafferty and the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. Gosh, if there's been one thing that I personally, growing up, experienced, it was watching my parents suffer with back pain. And when I was younger, it was my mom who had terrible problems with her discs. She ended up having a very invasive surgery. I remember all of the contraptions. I remember her hanging in some zero gravity thing in the door jamb, in the door frame of their closet, because that was supposed to, relieve the pressure on her discs and on her back. And then the braces that she had to wear and the pain that she was in. Oh my God, it was awful. If only the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh had been around. And if I had known about it, I would have begged and borrowed and stolen to get her and to see Dr. Rafferty because it works. It's called intradisc nutrosis. It's non-surgical. Why wouldn't you want to try something that costs you out of pocket, commensurate to what it would cost you out of pocket with what insurance doesn't cover with back surgery? Why wouldn't you try the non-surgical, 98% successful procedure first? I would, right? PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. It's amazing. It's scientific. It works. He's got thousands and thousands and thousands of success stories. Go to PittsburghDiscInstitute.com and you'll read all about it. All the reviews, all of the people, the testimonials, and then call them, 412-906-9600. Like, they want you to call. Call us. Ask your questions. We'll help you. And if we can't help you, we'll tell you we can't help you. You might need surgery. That's what I'm talking about. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com, 412-906-9600. And this is a good time for us to talk about Dr. Dubiak. Okay, we have 3 physicians who sponsor this program. All 3 have very specific niches. And the whole weight loss, genetic testing, wellness is really Dr. Dubiak and BodyByAim360.com's wheelhouse. And there's just a few more days to go because through the end of December, Dr. Dubiak is offering this. It's got to be $1,500 to $2,000 out of pocket. If you were to get all of this blood work done, 65 different biomarkers, all these hormones, things that tell you stories about your body that you know nothing about. And you get it in a blood draw with Dr. Dubiak. And that blood draw and those results set up the predicate of a weight loss program for you that my trusty friend here, Brock, used to lose 70 pounds. Like, it's not just, maybe it'll work for you. It totally works. It totally works. Is it hard? Like, is it hard to not eat the way you want to eat? Well, when you reach that point, you're like, damn it, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of how my joints feel. I'm tired of how I feel sluggish. I don't sleep well. This sucks. When you're ready, 412-227-9255.
It's a lot easier when you lose it to not eat like that ever again.
4-1, because it makes you feel like garbage.
Yep.
412-227-9255. BodybyAIM360.com. Brock and I commonly will go, we have haircuts, we'll hop in and get a hot dog or something at this local restaurant. And they gave us we got fries once. And they were fantastic. They were twice fried fries. So you're like, just slather that all over my arse. And we ate them. And I tell you what, I felt like garbage for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Once you get that stuff out of your system, and then once you realize, my mouth tells me I want that, but my gut is like, say what?
Yeah. My gut, later on activities are like,
no thanks.
Don't.
Negative, Ghost Rider. We don't want that at all.
You got places to be. The bathroom isn't one of them.
I'm sitting there getting my hair colored, and my stomach is like, like, no, not happening.
Go brown, it's happening.
Hot sweats. You're like,
I get the meat sweats for.
Are you having a hot flash? I'm like, yeah. No, I'm having a revolution inside my intestinal tract. It's like, no. Yeah, once you start feeling better and you lose weight, you're like, dang it, I'm not going back. Who else gave us $50?
And
Froggy twice?
No.
Oh, how's it on twice for me? No. Ultra $10 for one decent cigar for Brock on New Year's Eve. Why does everybody buy Brock stuff? What about me?
Wow. I will say I kind of dropped it. Yes, she did watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I did.
And I'll have you all know she was quoting lines when she made a point to call and tell me.
Yes, it was
and
cute.
Was quoting lines.
It's a cute movie. Is it the best movie ever? No, it's not the best movie ever. But if you grew up watching that and that was your jam, I can completely see why you would think it's the best movie ever. I mean, you're a little weird, but that's okay.
Poo in everybody's mind.
No, I wasn't.
That was just wrong.
I wasn't wrong.
Sure it was.
Trading Places is way better.
Fake news.
No.
4.
Fake news.
2. 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. And I want to thank you guys for being here. Big day as we are digging further into the Minnesota fraud. And we haven't put totally out of our back burner land this whole 60-minute story that's so ridiculous, right? You know, I will admit, I have a visceral reaction to media dishonesty. You know, being a journalist for 30 odd years and deeply caring about telling stories and sharing people's accomplishments, their struggles, their triumphs, is serious to me. I cared profoundly about sharing stories with people. And then I began to see the corruption, the laziness, the ego, the narcissism, the insecurity, all wrapped up into a field that has really just sucked for far too long. Television news. Sorry to say it, I'm still a part of it, and I enjoy my role on Newsmax on the weekend. But I got to say, it's a far cry from the industry I thought I was getting into. Cheryl Atkinson, independent journalist, right? She had an opportunity to watch the leaked 60 Minutes video Inside CCOT, in which a journalist, Sharon Alfonsi, takes the viewer to El Salvador, to CCOT, into the Supermax prison there, and creates a story that is alluding to brutality on the side of the Trump administration. Well, this Cheryl Atkinson had the opportunity to watch the video and make notes and be able to write a Substack about it. I want to read it to you because I think she's a relatively straight shooter. And she identified some flaws that absolutely, she says, new CBS News exec Bari Weiss was right to halt the publication, the airing of this particular story, even though it was just a few hours before airtime. And so I want you to hear this. Cheryl Atkinson writes this. I viewed the version of the 60 Minutes report Inside CCOT that was distributed to Canada's global TV app and circulated online and then pulled due to copyright claims. Based on my viewing of that version, here is my critique. I did not see it personally. Cheryl Atkinson has. By way of background, the 60 Minutes segment titled Inside CCOT, reported by correspondent Sharon Alfonsi, was originally scheduled to air on CBS on December 21st, but editor-in-chief Bari Weiss abruptly pulled it just hours before broadcast, saying that more work needed to be done. The report investigated El Salvador's notorious terrorism confinement center, CCOT, a maximum security mega prison built in 2022 under President Nayib Bukele as part of his aggressive anti-gang crackdown. The prison is known for harsh conditions, including allegations of torture, no outdoor access, and overcrowding. Well, the 60 Minutes report focused on the Trump administration's deportation of over 250, mostly Venezuelan men, to CCOT under a paid agreement with El Salvador. I think we pay El Salvador something like $6 million, which is chump change to El Salvador. It's big money for them to take off our hands some of the dirtbags who came into this country with wild criminal records, murderers, rapists, pedophiles, kidnappers, drug runners, all of it, right? The 60 Minutes reporter interviewed two men who claimed to have served time in CCOT, but were released. They described enduring months of physical, sexual, and psychological abuse. CBS editor-in-chief Bari Weiss postponed the segment, citing the need for additional reporting, stating it did not sufficiently advance prior coverage. Alfonsi and her supporters allege Weiss's decision was politically motivated, like somehow she's in bed with the Trump administration, she's somehow a conservative, and they're putting the screws to 60 Minutes to do more stories in Trump's likeness. Well, After watching the report, as edited, here's my feedback on why it was not ready for prime time. Considering the subject matter, the story needed to explain the following things. How 60 Minutes located the two alleged former CCOT inmates interviewed. Who were they? How did they come to get in touch with 60 Minutes? If the two men were brought to 60 Minutes by the human rights group featured, that needs to be disclosed. See how propaganda works? This is how it works. What also had to be explained? How 60 Minutes confirmed firsthand that the men were CCOT inmates. If 60 Minutes did not confirm this critical fact firsthand, that needed to be disclosed, as well as what assurances the reporter felt she had that the men are who they presented themselves to be. Vague. A little fuzzy on the specifics. Who are these dudes? What are they accused of doing? Where's evidence of what they experienced? Evidence of them being there. None of this was chronicled in this report. Other shortfalls that needed to be addressed or admitted to the story. The bulk of the story was based on the word of an illegal immigrant with no stated independent verification of key claims. It's akin to taking the word of an alleged murderer that he or she is innocent and a good guy who's being unfairly persecuted for no reason, right? Maybe it's true, but certainly the claims deserve to be treated with a dose of rational skepticism. In the 60 Minutes report, they were not. 60 Minutes characterized the main interviewee as a good guy with no criminal background or gang affiliation, based on his own word. and the supposed absence of his name in a gang database. However, there's no way for 60 Minutes to guarantee that a foreigner who entered the U.S. illegally had no criminal background elsewhere. There's no way for a reporter to confirm somebody isn't a gang member, even if he's not in a database. If the reporter had felt that she'd confirmed this, she needed to state how she had done so. There was an extreme or an extensive discussion of tattoos, which felt like a red herring, as if the reporter were trying too hard in the absence of evidence to point to other facts, as if they provided proof. 60 Minutes didn't seem to question the main interviewee's claim that U.S. officials arbitrarily singled him out among millions of illegal immigrants and treated him as a gang member for no reason. This doesn't make sense. And if it's true, required a bit more exposition. Or the reporter needed to acknowledge she didn't confirm the interviewee's claims about what U.S. officials told him and the circumstances surrounding his deportation. The interviewee's claims about their captivity require a similar suspension of disbelief. They seem to claim they're just good, innocent guys, but that for no reason the CCOT officials singled them out among thousands to put in the isolation room and beat every half hour, or constantly for hours, depending on which inmate was describing the experience. Maybe it's true, but the claims are part of a long list under the heading of could not be confirmed, yet they were treated in the report as if they were indisputable. The weird reliance on the alleged former inmate's word extended to the visit of Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem. Alfonsi, the reporter, asked the man if Noem spoke with any detainees when she was on site, and he claims she did not. But what makes the reporter believe this inmate would be in a position to know whether Noem spoke to inmates? Did he accompany her on the entire tour? Is he omniscient? Could he somehow see her acts and interactions at all times among thousands of inmates? Absent an explanation, he seems to be a poor source on these points, but the reporter treated him as if he were an authority. Additionally, the question of whether Noem talked to inmates seems off point. That story didn't allege that Noem had claimed to talk to inmates in the first place. And if she didn't talk to him, it doesn't get to the heart of the torture claims at hand. The reporter presented several facts as gotchas that didn't come off as any type of gotcha at all. If these facts were indeed proof of some mistreatment, it was not explained well in the story. Another supposed gotcha was over lights being on 24/7 inside CCOT. Yet by 60 Minutes' own admission, the head of the prison had acknowledged on camera that lights are always on inside CCOT. They want to create the illusion that that constitutes torture. The report also failed to balance its reporting on this practice, taking the position that persistent lighting is intended as torture. The story should have acknowledged that it's not unusual for high security units, solitary confinement areas, and supermax facilities to always keep the lights on. If I ran 60 Minutes, the only way I would present a story like this right now, which seems incredibly tone deaf, would be with the shortfalls addressed, and if there were also a story on illegal immigrant crime victims in the U.S. as part of the same hour. CBS's Weiss should have flagged the story sooner rather than at the last minute to give time to fix the flaws. If she's going to step in editorially, and she has a legitimate argument at this stage to conduct those reviews, any controversial stories, she should review all such pieces earlier in the process and better describe and justify what's expected from a balance and journalistic standpoint. Sounds like she had every reason to pull the story. Sounds like the standard operating procedure at 60 Minutes has been basically to fly solo, to go rogue, and to present hyperbole, supposition, rumor, or even downright lies as facts. Such a bummer about the legacy media, isn't it? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, the president of El Salvador, speaking of CCOT, just slapped Hillary Clinton across the face. Did you hear about this one? It's actually enjoyable. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I thought it was interesting. I didn't watch the story. It's so easy to manipulate people. Manipulate people with a headline or with a photograph or with a cut line, or to where you place the article above the fold, back section of the real estate page, bury it there.
Or not report on it.
Or just radio silent crickets. What?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Liberals are stupid because all they do is watch. They don't know these things. Like my mentality's starting to change after the Minnesota fraud story because they're just not hearing it. No, and they're not smart enough to go other than CNN and MSNBC and New York Times, but they're not hearing it.
I want to tell you guys about Kelly Morgan and Morgain's Fitness. MORGAINZ fitness.com. What's nice about this for me to be able to tell you is that Kelly's 90-day Ignite program, in which she online through Zoom or FaceTime is able to help you not only choose the foods that serve you right and avoid those that are absolutely destroying your weight loss plans. She helps you with an exercise regimen. And if you give her 90 days of your commitment, she'll help you change your world. It's truly amazing. I've watched it. We've gotten testimonials. We've seen the video, right? We've seen the people. We've seen the snapshots, rather, I should say, the before and after. What have you got to lose? Nothing. Now, if you're lucky enough that you live in this land of suck, Pennsylvania, and you're down in the Somerset, Cambria County, Cambria areas, there are 4 Morgain's Fitness gyms for you to choose from. If you don't live there, you've got morgainsfitness.com, MORGAINZ fitness.com. How you doing? How's this? Yeah, I kind of got a little, it got hot and heavy. Okay. Phew. I'm ready to rock and roll. I had more pins in my hair. If there was a giant magnet, I'd be screwed. Let's see how you guys are doing. We're getting close. Oh my goodness, gravy. 3.87. Shut the front door. And 11,000 of you still here. I mean, I know it's hard to tear yourself away from me. Give into it. It's good. Just stay. Stay forever because I love having you here. Thank you. This is what I love about Rumble, right? We let Rumble know probably almost 2 months ago that we were going to switch time. And our guy at Rumble was like, oh my gosh, this is such great news. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. And he's like, and what has he done over the weekend, or not over the weekend, but the last couple of days we've been on, we've gotten a big box for a little while, gotten a lot more eyes to pay attention, hear what we talk about. So,
can I say a thank you?
Yeah.
Betty from Altoona. I'll go home and hang it today.
Aw, that's so sweet. I love that. And there's more. I have so much more, but we'll do it in the
Shelly
half hour
from
break.
Minnesota, thank you.
What's your money count? What are you up to? You guys are phenomenal.
Jim and Nancy, thank you.
It's just kind of ridiculous how lovely you are to us.
Steph, I guess on Rumble, birthday card, thank you.
Literally, I went to the P.O. box and it was like, she brought out
Sunny
a card.
Days 54, thank you. Unnecessary, but thank you.
You like us.
A lot of Hallmark cards, which will make Kate happy.
Yes. Yes. I love me some Nayib Bukele. He might be my #1 boyfriend.
Wow.
I know. I think a man who's all about law and order and down. It was Matt Gaetz. It was Matt Gaetz who piqued my interest and introduced me to the president of El Salvador. And I think it's so interesting to see what is going on in the hemisphere. It's interesting to see what's going on as President Trump and this administration put the squeeze on true authoritarian, communist, these governments that fail, that punish the residents, that are run by drug money, blood money, that are run by gangs. And President Bukele in El Salvador was like, look, we're done. And he had the huevos to build a monster super prison called CCOT that basically acts as a giant reminder and deterrent, right? If you're in El Salvador and you know damn well that if you get to CCOT, you're not coming out, that if you're in the Supermax portion of it, you're going to be crowded in a cage with 80 other animals who are as tatted up and as dark and evil as you might think twice. Right here in America, you can steal, thieve, rape, pillage, murder, what have you. You're in a sanctuary city, whatever. Nayib Bukele actually changed that. And he built this prison. And the beautiful thing about what he did, I do believe in second chances. I believe in 18th chances, to be honest with you. Some people will not be saved. They are dark and they are evil, and they need to be eliminated from society. They need to be corralled, and I don't really give a damn what happens to them. I'm sorry, not sorry. But there are some people who, yes, are judged by the worst day of their lives for whatever reason. And maybe there's a chance to make amends, to change direction. I believe in that. And so does President Bukele. Because it's not just CCOT. It's also the whole prison structure of reform. His view is if you break the law in El Salvador, you will pay the price, you will serve your time, but you have to give back to the community. And so the men there and women are trained to do various things. And they go out in the community under guard and they give back. They clean brush. They repair buildings. They fix cars. They fix shoes. They grow vegetables. They paint schools. Give back. And then when you're done serving your sentence, you have an actual skill that you can go out and use in an honorable way. Well, Hillary Clinton put out this in relation to the 60-minute story. Curious to learn more about CCOT? ? Here, Juan, Andre, and Wilmer, these are the three guys that Sharon Alfonsi, whatever her name is, cherry-picked to bemoan the alleged abuse and torture they've received in CCOT because of Donald Trump. Here, the three guys share firsthand how the Trump administration branded them as gang members without evidence and deported them to the brutal El Salvadoran prison. And then it shows a link to the site. So, Nayib Bukele, president of El Salvador, totally bitch slaps her. I'm just going to say it. Right across the face, you old coot. Madam Secretary Hillary Clinton, if you are convinced that torture is taking place at CCOT, El Salvador is ready to cooperate fully. We are willing to release our entire prison population, including all gang leaders and all those described as political prisoners, to any country willing to receive them. The only condition is straightforward. It must be everyone. This would also greatly assist journalists and your favorite NGOs, who would then have thousands of former inmates available for interviews, making it far easier to find additional voices critical of the Salvadoran government or willing to confirm whatever conclusions are already expected. Surely, if these testimonies reflect a systematic reality, a much larger pool of sources should only reinforce the claim, and many governments should be eager to offer protection. Until then, we will continue prioritizing the human rights of the millions of Salvadorans who today live free from gang rule. Respectfully, Nayib Bukele. I love that. It's almost as legendary as national treasure Stephen Miller going on live television and saying, to any of these libs on the left, to any of these journalists boo-hooing people getting snatched off the street by abuela, children in zip ties separating parents from children. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? We can fix this real quick. As you go back to your safe brownstone wherever you live, how about we just send a couple of these guys over to you? You guys can have a pillow fight, share stories, paint each other's fingernails, watch movies and gossip. But I'm sure you'll have no problem with these people, these murderous thugs, gang-banging, drug-dealing, human trafficking, wife-beating scumbags, coming to spend time in your house, your condo. Make a night of it. Invite your friends. Hillary, you're corrupt as stones, and everybody knows it. How about you show up for your appearance and talk about your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Act Blue and Minnesota's daycare autism fraud, connecting the dots. Next. Oh, Hillary. Madam Secretary Hillary Clinton. If you're convinced that torture is taking place, come on over. Come on over. We're ready to totally cooperate. We will release everybody at CCOT. Don't she and Bill have a nice place somewhere? We could send them all to Martha's Vineyard. Barack Obama, all the people who don't want you to have guns. It could be a great story. Maybe we'll make sure Nick Shirley is on that one.
Right.
What else do we have?
I said this to Wendy this morning, and I saw a thing talking about these independent journalists needing security. I don't know why Elon Musk doesn't start an X News feed. That he, and I'm not saying spend other people's money, but make it a premium to get the X News from these independent journalists, and then give that money to them for protection, for security purposes.
To the person who sent me this book, The Empath's Survival Guide, did not come with your name, and for that I'm sorry. But thank you.
Okay, now we got a bag. 397.
I'm not begging. You guys got this. You're the best. We still have 10-7 watching, which is wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, that's because you're not including the 12-12 one.
Let's go. Thanks, X. Hey, Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Do not forget about them. So it's winter in Pennsylvania, and you're like, all of my household projects are like pie in the sky now. Well, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe not. What if you wanted to put in new windows, whole house new windows? You wanted to put in maybe a bay window or maybe a skylight or something like that. Ireland Contracting will come out to your house right now and talk to you about that. You're looking at your house and you're like, honey, it's so boring. We've got this ugly siding. We need to zhuzh it up. Ireland Contracting can come out to your house during the winter and talk to you about that, right? You want a new roof? What?
Just hit 4K. One new roof? IrelandContracting.com. 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. I love them. I'm going to go through and see what I have forgotten because I know I've forgotten somebody. I hope not, but it's happened before. We did Sniper, we did Doc, we did Blood Flow, we did Texas Bullion with my fancy schmancy coins. We did Healthy Cell. We did the Healthy Fat. Don't you guys notice how, and I love this about our sponsors, they're all about, in some fashion, making you well.
Without
right?
Big Pharma.
Making you well, certainly with the ones who do medical stuff. We've got 3 doctors. We have multiple companies that give us supplementation, which we love. We've maxed out where we are with that sort of stuff. But even these businesses like Ireland Contracting, they want to make your life better, right? They want to make your home better. All of these people, they want to do something for you that gives you something. Even Texas Bullion Exchange. Wendy loves gold. Peace of mind. Peace of mind. Give me some option of somebody I can talk to who doesn't suck, who's not trying to rip me off. At the end of the day, that's all I want. Fix my toilet. Don't bend me over it, right? It shouldn't cost $500.
No.
Right? Just, I will pay, and I will pay you well. We need to get back to that. Brock, do you remember the name of the farmer? Who's the Amish farmer?
Amos Miller.
Everybody's got a guy. Brock's my guy. I wonder how he's doing. I was just thinking about him and the Amish. Such a successful community, a lifestyle there. Not for everybody, obviously. But that whole system where things work, right? where I'm going to do this for you because you did this for me. And it's this mutual, if I can benefit you and make your life easier, then I take personal joy in that. And then you're going to repay me by doing something that you're skilled at. Like, it's not.
That's how I grew up.
This, right?
Not Amish.
Right. But I mean, damn close. Right? Just
yeah,
the
we picked and canned our
own. The traditional family values. Like, I really feel for my sons. Like, I was talking to my second oldest son, Jack, who's 24, talking to him about that. And he's like, if we all 5 boys and they all get bet they're all going to have girls, because it just feels how the cycle should go. Like, I don't want a girl who is influenced by social media and all this stuff, or like this. And I'm like, it's hard. Yes, you're going to have to find a woman who's not a nut.
Amos is still under attack by the IRS and PA, Department of Agriculture. That's not weaponizing government.
Right? A guy who grows organic food and who helps his community by giving them nutrient-rich, pesticide-free heaven. Damn him.
No dyes.
Bag it up. Out of business.
Wow, that's 3 times today.
I know. You know, I find myself wondering, how far would you go for money? What would you be willing to do? What would you be willing to compromise personally for money? And I think everybody would have a different answer. Depends on where you are. It depends on what your needs are. But does it really? Because there's a hard stop. There's a firm line where I think the majority of us would not go. Because, one, it would consume me. I would be ashamed, and it would absolutely rot me from the inside out. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Being a thieving little youngster, the thought of stealing from somebody or lying about something, I couldn't do it. A lot of people can. And a lot of them seem to end up in politics. And I said to Brock this morning, I'm like, we need to find a story that connects the dots with all this jazz going on with welfare fraud and autism and daycare fraud, and act blue. There's got to be this huge Democrat fundraising platform, which is corrupt as stones, right? Where you get anonymous dark money donations where nobody's asking, where'd that $100 million come from? Right? And then that money is donated into various people's bank accounts, their fundraising coffers. And if it's under a threshold of a certain amount, well, nobody really cares who gave it. Which is why you have 10,000 donations by one person who's like, say what? I've given Ag Blue like twice, but not 10,000 times, right? So connect these dots. Brock found it. And it's from the WLT report. And I want to read some of this to you. And I just want to create, we're just going to plant a seed in your mind. And I'm sure it's already been there for a while. Here's the title, right? Act Blue, daycare fraud. Is this really how the massive fraud worked? Elon Musk has been shouting from the rooftops that Act Blue has committed massive fraud for a long time now. Here he is back in March, stating it point blank. This is where a Maryland grandma exposes Act Blue's dirty little secret. This is video of James O'Keefe knocking on a door of a little old lady named Cindy No, who confirmed to James that no, in fact, she hadn't given $18,849.77 to Act Blue. Elon tweeted that out. Act Blue has committed massive fraud. Now, the author of this article says, I want to be clear, I'm not saying that, although the evidence has started to stack up. I'm just reporting on what Elon Musk has said. Again, here in April, here's Elon calling for an investigation. House Judiciary tweeted something out, fraud on Act Blue. How the Democrats' top fundraising platform opens the door for illegal election contributions, to which Elon retweeted Act Blue investigation, right? He also reports that Act Blue was behind the funding for all the Tesla protests earlier this year, and that the founders include George Soros and Reid Hoffman, among others. Elon tweeting out, an investigation has found 5 Act Blue funded groups responsible for Tesla protests, Troublemakers, Disruption Project, Rise and Resist, Indivisible Project, and Democrat Socialists of America. And reminds us the Act Blue funders include George Soros, Reid Hoffman, and a host of others. But how does it all work, allegedly? How is it all connected? What's the general flow of all this money, and where does it end up? At its most basic, it seems like this is how this cycle must flow. You start with taxpayer money, get funneling to what? Fraudulent providers, which ends up with kickbacks and donations, and that ends in Democratic campaign coffers, right? Wash, rinse, repeat. Here's more. Minnesota Somali fraud plot deepens. Fake child care centers caught donating to Democrats. And of course, this is screenshots blowing up showing Somali-run child care centers in Minneapolis, which we've already established through Nick Shirley, do not have anybody there. There's nobody in these child care centers, no children, nobody, right? And they call the cops when you come knocking on the door asking for answers. Screenshots are blowing up showing Somali-run child care centers in Minneapolis funneling donations to local Somali politicians right around the time the massive fraud scandals show up, right? Screenshots showing this. We're talking places like Sunshine Child Care Center, Minnesota's Best Child Care Center, Adult Care LLC, and Lucky Child Care Center dropping $1,000 checks. And this is in 2021. Mixed in with individual donors. This is all tied into the epic Feeding Our Future mess, where prosecutors say over $250 million in federal COVID aid for kids' meals got siphoned off by Somali-linked nonprofits. Recent probes flag up to half of $18 billion in state programs potentially looted, including daycare scams, where centers pocketed millions with no kids in sight, exposing empty daycares in Minneapolis that scored up to $4 million. Politicians like Ilhan Omar got hit with donations from fraud suspects back in 2022, though she bounced the cash to food banks, saying, I didn't know any better. President Trump and Vance are piling on about Somali fraud rings, turning Minnesota into a scam haven. It's got folks demanding audits and deportations, calling it a kickback loop where taxpayer dollars boomerang to politicians pushing for more handouts. This paper trail isn't going away. We've got more confirmation here. Why are so many fake child care centers donating to national Democrat races across the country? Right? Why is somebody who's involved in the Somalian welfare garbage giving to somebody in a no district in California? Where is this all happening? How is this happening? It's almost like we just uncovered one of the largest election frauds in history, funneling stolen Medicaid tax dollars to Democrat candidates in mass. Act Blue needs to be prosecuted now. So when the reporter here turned to AI, and asked it to tell him how the scam might work, what it told him was fascinating. Of course, it includes all the standard disclaimers and caveats, but tell me if this doesn't make perfect sense to you. Elon Musk has reportedly accused ActBlue, the primary online funding platform for Democratic candidates and progressive causes, of facilitating fraud and money laundering, right? By way of smurfing, breaking large donations into many small ones to bypass limits or hide origins. We've covered that extensively. How about identity misuse? Use of fraudulent donor identities. For example, using elderly people listed as making thousands of small donations without their knowledge, and illegal contributions, potential illegal foreign contributions. And then it goes through all of the allegations of fraud. Elon Musk has been on this since the beginning, which is why Doge got run out of town, which is why the knives and the spears and the pitchforks and the torches, like in Shrek, when they come to drain the swamp and get rid of Shrek, right? This is why all the knives were out for Elon Musk. This is why they went after Tesla. Oh, yeah? You want to stop our money funneling? You want to stop the only way the Democrat Party is staying even remotely viable? Through dark money donations funneled through a process that is clearly fraudulent, right? We'll come after Tesla. We'll destroy everything about your company. We'll set your cars on fire. We'll shoot at your workers and put them in danger because it is for the greater good. After all, and Elon Musk has been all over it. It is so much bigger than just Minneapolis, because this is going on where you live, right? If we were to honestly look at every single campaign donation, if we were to be scrutinizing about this, why do you think that the states that refuse to share election data with the federal government, who fail to share all of the voter roll information, why is it that these states are the ones aggressively pushing no voter ID? It's almost like it's so obvious. And there's only one way to stop you from talking about it. One is to censor you. Well, that doesn't work anymore because independent voices come out from beyond the curtain. And they go and they find the truth. The second way is to label you something when you expose it, to call you names. That doesn't work anymore either, because we've just survived 4 years of woke garbage that has states now, 19 of them, suing the Trump administration because they want to continue mutilating children in sex change operations. Think about that for a moment. Everything these people do is based on their craven depravity to always stay in power, because when you lack good messages, when you have no positive message, when you have no plan, when you have no candidates who enjoy or excite anybody in the electorate, you know all you can do is cheat and steal. And Elon was all over this like white on rice. And the minute Doge settled in at the Treasury Department and got through those doors, the firebombing of Tesla started. The demonizing of one man who had been the left's political god, the guy who made electric vehicles, all of a sudden became public enemy number one. So WLT report in much greater fashion connects those dots for you. It all makes sense, doesn't it? All makes sense. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, did you hear about the guy from the UK who had that Center for Countering Digital Hate, right? This is like the Nina Jankowicz on steroids. Censoring you. Dude just got deported. I love it. How about a little bit of justice? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. All of it. You know what I got? I don't know how we're going to use this, but look at this thing. Look at this thing. You know what Nick Shirley did for Congress? He did what Garrett Ziegler did for Congress. He gave them the laptop and said, I'm going to go through every square inch of it, and I'm going to chronologically put it all in order for you. Every picture, every email, every business deal, everything. And here you go. This is the Hunter Biden laptop, which he tells us is fake. Really. Now, Garrett Ziegler gave this to Congress, and he said, is nobody's above the law? Then go after the guy. Human trafficking, drugs, extortion, et cetera, et cetera. Here you go. What did Congress do with it? Zero. Nick Shirley knocked on the doors. He got the data. He met David. He got all of the information. He's got the millions. Showed him where to find it all. Better go. Better do something with it. This is... And how scary that this would be something that I would find of value. Garrett Ziegler freaking autographed it for me. Hey, thank you for telling the truth about what's going on with the laptop. Can I send you the contents? I was like, okay, it's gross. You have all the details. Where's the action?
I think this is the heat the GOP is going to need, because your monologue just spoke what everyone in MAGA, they thought they were heated about Epstein list. I think people are going to be more heated about this, the fraud.
Somalians calling the cops on him and then recording him.
Yeah. Well, covering their face.
Smugly as he was escorted off. I wanted to go up to that woman and rip that freaking face covering off her face. And
how about the white liberal chick who's sitting there going,
ICE here, ICE is here. And Nick Shirley's like, where's ICE?
She's like, who are you? He's like, Nick Shirley or Shari?
Shirley.
Shirley.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Women have lost. There are the white, liberal, college-educated, toxic chick.
How long till Trump starts tweeting about the Somali? He wants to see people
get the shite done. Get it done. We're going to investigate. It's like 2019. Tim Walz is like, I own this.
Yeah.
This is on me. Well, that doesn't mean anything. You have no credibility.
Well,
right?
He knew nothing was going to happen. That's why you can say, hell, the Minnesota Star still hasn't covered it. The Minnesota Star still has not covered this story.
At what point do you cover it and then look like an ass? Look like exactly the corrupt schmuck that you are.
Their leadership has to go through the floor.
I still haven't finished my coffee. Sacrilegious. It's the Shizzle blend from Crescent Mountain Coffee. Our Wendy Bell Radio blend. Best coffee you'll ever have in your life. CrescentMountainCoffee.com. CRESSON. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's been sitting on a hot plate for 3 hours and it still tastes delicious. Let's go. 10,000 of you. And 1,300 on X. How you doing? So wait. Program, you know what? I stumbled upon this story and I almost choked because it got buried if it was ever even reported. Let's see. Did you know that the last year of Joe Biden's presidency, he basically kicked out 442 journalists out of the White House press briefing area? Like literally just by goodbye. Biden changed White House press pool, cutting off more than 440 reporters' credentials, right? The Trump administration has restored all of those and added many more. So like 500 now. And he's, as you well know, they've welcomed in all this alternative media. They say that podcasters are the fringe new media. We've been doing this for years. There ain't nothing fringe about what I do. I just cut through the middle, man, which is the media suck, to give you what I believe is the truth. And then the ability to fact check me and call me out if you think I'm wrong. Well, this is a very curious story. And I got to get into it. I've got way too many pages open, so excuse me as I clear this out. Okay. So there's this radical leftist loser over the Center for Countering Digital Hate. That's how we got Nina Jankowicz. Remember her? Do we have like 4 seconds of that? I know, Brock. I'm calling him out on them. This is where we got this whack job woman who was going to say, we're not censoring people at all. And then she created this weird song and we're like, say what?
Information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie.
Okay.
It's how you hide a little lie.
Whack job central right there. Well, Nina Jankowicz was birthed from this cat who now has been bounced. He was here in America from the UK, malignant schmuck. He just got his papers. See ya, radical activist, NGO boss at the center of Breitbart's censorship scandal. So obviously the story's on Breitbart.com. Denies being a censor. No. I wasn't a censor. We didn't do anything. It's sort of like Hunter Biden saying that laptop, it's fake. It didn't really exist. They just made that to make me look bad. And you're like, really? I don't know what you're smoking, but we're on a different page, right? Let's get the details on this fellow, the head of the Center for Countering Digital Hate, attempted to claim that his organization is not a censorship outfit as he faces potential deportation from the United States for involvement in silencing American voices online. Bye. Imran Ahmed, a left-wing UK citizen, Politico turned censorship activist who runs the British government-tied CCDH, that's what I'm going to call the Center for Countering Digital Hate, gave a string of interviews over the weekend following an emergency Christmas ruling by federal district court judge in New York to block the Trump administration from detaining and deporting him from the United States after he was sanctioned for having led organized efforts to coerce American platforms to censor, demonetize, and suppress American viewpoints they oppose. Hey, Brock, what happened to us? I don't know. Did we get... Oh, that's right. All those things. I got permanently banned on YouTube. For what? For asking questions. Permanently banned. Poor Brock couldn't even create a YouTube page because they saw he was affiliated with me. So they blocked him before he could even set up his account. Nothing says free speech like that, you schmuck. The former Labor Party advisor resides in the United States on a green card, has accused the Trump administration of violating his constitutional rights. Does anybody else want to join me in a chorus of suck it? In particular, his First Amendment protections by seeking to remove him from the country over his activist work, which has included efforts to force social media and search companies to blacklist conservative news outlets, among them Breitbart News. In an interview with PBS, that's where I would rush if I was a lib, Ahmed also asserted that the Center for Countering Digital Hate was not involved in censorship. That's not at all what we were doing. We're trying to make things better, right? Like Tim Walz, it stops with me. It ends here. I own this. See, here's the problem. When you suck, and everybody knows you suck, pretending to be a victim makes you suck more. And then we don't like you even more. So here is my hope that he gets bounced ASAP. Bounced ASAP. He attempted to cast his organization's efforts as merely providing accountability to large social media companies, which he described in a separate interview with the left-wing British Guardian newspaper as displaying arrogance, indifference, and a lack of humility. You know what? If you're from another country and you come into this country to try to hurt Americans, silence Americans, trample our freedoms, change our way of life, if you come in from another country and you want to steal from us, you want to You want to steal from us, not just monetarily, but our peace of mind? You want to come in this country and you want to vote and you want to steal from us? Pack your bags. I think Seacott is too nice a place for some people. Welcome. If you are new, come on back tomorrow. We're going to do it again in 21 hours. Thanks for being part of the Wendy Bell Radio family. Peace.